More coverage and full listings. You're listening to Roses Live, brought to you by URY and Bailwig FM. This broadcast will start shortly. In the meantime, check out roseslive.co.uk for more coverage and full listings. You're listening to Roses Live, brought to you by URY and Bailwig FM. This broadcast will start shortly. In the meantime, check out roseslive.co.uk for more coverage and full listings. You're listening to Roses Live, brought to you by URY and Bailwig FM. This broadcast will start shortly. In the meantime, check out roseslive.co.uk for more coverage and full listings. You're listening to Roses Live, brought to you by URY and Bailwig FM. This broadcast will start shortly. In the meantime, check out roseslive.co.uk for more coverage and full listings. You're listening to Roses Live, brought to you by URY and Bailwig FM. This broadcast will start shortly. In the meantime, check out roseslive.co.uk for more coverage and full listings.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this Roses Live broadcast. We are live here at Hendricks Hall for the Open Darts Seconds between Lancaster and York. My name is Matt Campo.
And I am Kyle Bailey.
And we will be at least beginning to guide you through the twists, turns, and events of this darts fixture. And to be honest, Kyle, based on what happened last year, you could see this going either way.
Yeah, it could do. It's a bit of a struggle to decide which way it could go, as we have some newbies in the Roses team this year for Bs, as well as some people who have played Roses A's, like George Frogson.
Yeah, and his captaincy of the side, he'll be hoping to lead Lancaster to a comeback win after last year's disappointing decider that we won't mention. Any more detail, please?
Yeah, that's a bit of a struggle for you, Campo, to keep on talking about. So I think you'll try and steer away that. I'll try and keep on bringing it back every so often, though.
Yeah, thank you. That's really kind. But for York, quite a few of the names I recognise. Standout players that I've been told is Dylan Savary, 21 years old. He seems to be, he's in his first year. A fresher coming into any darts team, really, is a tremendous achievement. And to be one of the highlighted players by his team, he must obviously have a bit about him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him today. Yeah,
that's one that we'll look forward to, especially for a fresher, because usually freshers do struggle on this Roses stage. But if he's got in the team for first to start off with, he could be one to watch later on in the night. If not, he's starting early.
Yeah, obviously we'll let you know who each team decides to nominate when we know. Obviously it's a difficult process of deciding who you want to play, the strengths, the weaknesses, early, late. Do you want them to soak up the atmosphere? Do you want to play them early? It's really interesting.
How did you find it last year when you was nominating players?
I like to ask players, obviously, if you're getting forced onto the stage and you don't want to play, you're going to add that extra bit of pressure onto yourself. But really, everyone was up for it. We just got a bit unlucky on the day. A couple of missed darts at double. Well, quite a few missed darts at double. But all credit to York for last year. Obviously, they did a good job coming into a difficult environment. It is always difficult to go away. We saw that with the women's this morning. And quite frankly, what a great performance that was from the Lancaster women's. York put up a great fight. And there were a couple of 2-1 games that really could have turned the tide if York had just managed to get over the line in them.
Yeah, it could have been a real hostile atmosphere for the Lancaster players, and York had a valiant effort, but unfortunately the streak still continues for the women's darts in Lancaster.
And that is a streak of, I believe it's 41 years in
Yeah,
a
that's
row
correct.
where Lancaster women's team have beaten the York women's team. And another bit of history that Lancaster are looking to make today, Kyle, is that they could potentially be the first university to win Roses 4 years on the spin, which I was thinking of I don't know how long the competition was going on, but I was slightly surprised that we've never had a team go that 4 in a row.
Yeah, well, I was having a look at it, and it's been each way for the past over 40 years, and then suddenly we've just got into a Lancaster run that seems to be unbroken by York. They can't seem to break it whatsoever. And I think that it's going to be a struggle for York to get out of that rut for the next few years if they manage to win this year. But it is currently looking, I believe, that Lancaster are winning.
Yeah, I'm sure we can check the scores. I'm sure you can bring those scores up. Yeah, it just seems like the atmosphere here is just a bit subdued at the moment. But I can tell you, everyone who's listening and watching live, that as soon as the first couple of players, who I believe are hopefully getting ready into position, I believe it's James for Lancaster and Matthew, I believe, for York. Matty for York. I believe they're the first two that will be on in hopefully a matter of moments. It seems like the Master Cooler is ready. As we see, it's 81 to York, 112 to Lancaster. Before we begin, we will let the Master Cooler introduce the players, if he decides to. He's in the good frame now for the camera, so I think he's got the go-ahead.
So we seem to be looking at just getting the framing right. So currently Lancaster on 112 points. Now that should need to be updated soon. But it's looking like Lancaster will win it on current trajectory.
Of course, there is a chance of a York comeback, and I think a couple of points for the twos today would be a good step in the right direction, bring the atmosphere in. So you could certainly imagine that if they win today for the twos, then that atmosphere straight after that with the ones in the evening, they will be riled and they'll be ready to, keep the party rolling from their perspective.
Yeah, I do feel like last year after the twos lost, the ones for Lancaster really tried to ramp up the efforts to try and get that win over the line. And they was believe they was joint with netball at the same time that the points went through. So the darts did win it for Lancaster last year. So now we're going to the announcement.
And Marshy, one of the newcomers in Lancaster University Dart Society, I believe. Quite a nice subdued walkout. He's gone to high-five a few of the Lancaster faithful at the front. They'll hopefully be hoping to rally behind their player. And boys, he seems to have lost where the step is.
Yeah, he just headbutted the speaker there, which isn't a great start for him.
Quite a tall man in stature, about 6'3", maybe 4, same height as the announcer. So apologies in advance for any his head getting in the way of the camera.
He's with his throw as well. He's very straight on, so he's very straight down the line. With the way
he looks nice and relaxed.
All the way from Radiator Springs, Arizona. It's Matty Keel!
And as we predicted, Kyle, it is Matty Keel who will be facing James Marsh, and he is absolutely lapping up the applause from the York faithful. And Cars has never been sang so loudly in an arena. He's given it to the Lancaster crowd.
The York fans seem to be loving it here tonight with the great Lightning McQueen tribute here.
And James is just sort of standing there, sort of thinking, I'll let him take this applause. I'll let him go. And Matty's got to now take that momentum from the crowd as he gives the ref a nice little spud there. And he's got to take that momentum from the crowd and really use that in his game. As they get right behind him immediately. And Matty Kiel, you think this could be a really, I know it's early on, the first game, but this could be massive for York. You've already heard the noise, presumably, from how York have greeted their player, who looked in good spirits up there.
Yeah, but Matty Kiel seemed a bit in high spirits, but his darts were a bit wayward then. He could struggle with the pressure on the stage, even though he has it before.
I believe he also opened last year and had a nice ball checkout as we get underway in this second fixture. And James is blocking the frame a little bit, so it's quite hard to see where the darts are laying. And a 15 start.
Not a great start.
Not what he would have wanted, as Matty looks to punish that with a big visit.
That last start seemed to work well for him then.
Yeah, it's a first leg, so the nerves are coming out.
And steady darts there for James.
A nice 59. Sometimes when the treble 20 section is blocked, you sometimes see the darts players switch down to the 19, so they have a nice unblocked path for a big treble. Not sure if we picked up any of the language from the York chant.
Yeah, great score in there for James with an 80 there.
And Matty just relaxing his arm there. He's a couple of straight into the 1 section as he scored 21, but a good recovery on the last dart for the 19. James is nice methodical throw, nice and straight on. And a good 100 there for him. First big score of the game.
There. Great ton from James there. He's a very steady player with the way he throws. He's very strong in terms of the way he follows through with the dart.
Big response from Matty in response, pardon. 93 is a great score for this early period, especially if at James's visit, which isn't particularly brilliant, and now Matty is on 303, about 60 behind. He thinks he could really just put in a big score here. And a 43,
yeah,
he's captured.
2 strong numbers, he'll be right happy with that there.
Thomas Robertson core, as the youth would say. 40 leaves James Marshall on 180 after 18.
Hopefully he doesn't bust.
Treble 20 section, so 48.
Straight into the 1 there.
Evan on 180 does not leave a finish, so Matty on 2-1-2 with a big score. Pressure on, straight into the treble 1 by the looks of it from that.
He's still not left a visit there.
Let's see here, James. 42 leaves him on a 127. You expect 20 to him to come back. Matty on 189.
So either way, James there has left a finish and left a bull finish at best there.
There's a 59 also. Only need 1 treble for both of them. That looks like it's maybe a treble 5. Leaving him on 112.
No, I think that's a 20 there.
He's on 41. 8. 36. Just a bit of confusion there between score.
James with the honesty there. We like to see it. Sportsmanship at Rose's stage.
Ooh, a treble would have left Matty on the ball, and he did take out a ball finish, I believe, last year against Lancaster. 91, you've got to imagine the 17 start. It's a bit 17, so 74 could go double. Oh,
no, he's gone for the 14 segment there.
Straight into the 12s. And into the 39, leaves on 52, a single to double, 93, 19's here. 57 leaves 36, just sizing up. He's gone 17, leaves 76, I believe. So he should go to the 20 segment. And he's gone for the 5, leaves 71. Which back down to the 17s.
So he went for double 10 there, which might be his favourite double there, but we'll see.
Let's have a look. It's a 12 for James. I think it's just gone in. Might have gone double 12.
So he left tops.
Oh, he's
hit the second double. Lovely stuff from James there. Puts Lancaster 1-0 up on the afternoon.
An unorthodox finish. Lucy Evans reminiscent of double-double. Double 12, double 14. Mensa Sulovic, eat your heart out. As Matty would look to start big. He's only scored 13.
Not a great start for Matty there.
James is now straight into the 18s. It's Sean Liddell darts, but 40 is a decent score. 2 big numbers. He'll be happy with that.
a 62, which is a strong score there.
Yeah.
To punish the 40.
Good going, 66. Leaves them on 3-9-5. Start of the second leg. Just both players starting to really get into the spirit of the scoring. 44. So it's pretty much neck and neck. James with a chance here to. And
he's
sort of
strayed with that last dart. The
Yeah,
dart
he's
seems
sort
to
of
move over his
overcompensated.
arm.
Sort of overcompensated, I think. And 57 from Matty.
And he
some
seems to
good.
have punished that a bit now.
You'd think starting to feel their grooves. James's head seems to be blocking the screen.
James seems to be really struggling trying to follow that first dart. That first dart's been very strong in the past 3 visits. Hitting the 20 segment just under the treble, but he just can't seem to follow it.
And it's the nerves of playing on stage, and this will be his first roses. That looks like a lovely dart, potentially in the treble 20.
I suppose you'd know about that,
Ooh.
wouldn't you, Campo?
Might be. Oh, and he's hit
Oh,
2
he's
trebles,
pumping up
reminiscent of Jack Holmes and Ruben a couple of years ago.
He's pumping up
120.
the
The
fans.
crowd is wanting it.
Oh, he's just gone inside the 5.
That is a fantastic visit, and it puts
Great
immense
visit, though. Great visit. Puts
pressure
him-
on Matty. Apologies there for any obscene language you may have heard. We do apologise for that. Despite that big from James, Matty is not out the leg. Although you would have to believe James is the advantage here with stolen the darts with Matty throwing first and
Matty's
James leaving
left
a finish.
a 3-dart finish there. 2 big trebles and tops.
Oh, and those are some good straight
There's a
darts
strong
from Matty.
60
Puts a
there.
little bit of pressure
Still
on.
not left the visit.
Single 18 or a 1, can't really tell from this angle. And a great last start.
That's
so
all right.
6-6. Leaves that set 91 he tried to finish in the last leg. 173 for Matty. A few 19s he would have started onto 133 to leave tops.
Can he go inside the treble 17 for this one? And he's gone
It looks like
inside the 3, I believe, there. That leaves him 88, so he'll go 20s. Oh, no,
is he-
stay down there. It might not be in there.
unsure of what it's in, really. It's gone 19. 14, so it looks like a couple of loose darts and a big score here for Matty. Puts him right back in the leg, back on 139. But it doesn't look like he's really attained
And
that.
he can't punish that score. Now he's on 78.
Has he
He's
gone?
gone for double there.
And he's 2 single 19s, leave
And
tops
he's
for the
gone
match.
tops.
And it's
Ooh.
just underneath. You have to feel
Very
that,
good dart there thrown. He was just unlucky.
you have to feel that Matty really to leave it big. He
He's
looks like
left a
he's
ton
potentially
here.
scored 12. Oh, and that's not what he wants. 91, the only dart there that leaves something that is not a 2-dart out. James Marsh with a, quite frankly, statement victory in his first performance at Roses. A 50 average for the young man, and you have to say that Matty never really got going for York there.
It was a great, strong performance there from James. Seems steady on that stage. He had a few wayward darts, but he seems to really be happy with himself
And
after that win.
I don't think he even afforded his opponent a dart at double, which for this level is very impressive.
Yeah, you'd really want that dart at double, especially for the York player. He's really struggling with that, and he's trying to pump up the curve for the next match.
And York really would have wanted to, after that incredible walkout for Matty Keel, would have really wanted to push on from that and got the win. So now it's questions for the 2 captains, who I believe are George Frogson for Lancaster, and I believe it's Dan Scott for York. I'll check that if that is not correct, but that seems to be the information we provided. And 1-0 up or down, you'd have to imagine that both captains would have had a scenario where they're 1-0 up, they're 1-0 down. They've got to think who they want to play. Do they want to play one of their better players to try and claw it back, to get that 2-0 cushion? Are they happiest throwing someone that they may think could win in a sort of 50-50? It's sort of up in the air now of what you do, but I'd imagine they'd have a thought about it. Carl, what would you do here in this situation?
So generally, if I was Lancaster here, either team really, you'd want one of your steady players. You want one of your players who's more over a 50-50 chance, just to try and either, if you was York, to get back on the scoreboard, or if you was Lancaster, to try and push that lead even further. We've seen it in the past where if you go 2-0 up, some teams can lose their head very quickly just because they're quite far behind. as it is, and it's a struggle to get back them 2 matches.
Definitely, and just having a look at the Yorkshire players. So Dan Scott played in 2024 in the twos. He lost that game. Matty Kills, we already alluded to, was another player that played in that 2024 winning side. Jasper Berg, who is this year's treasurer, also won in the 2024s. And I also believe that, just trying to read the name. I can't read what that says because of the highlighter, but it's Solomon, I believe lost in the Open Ones. Does that say in 2024? So they do have
2023.
2023. My apologies. So York do have a number of experienced players, and you'd wonder if they'd look to one of their players with some stage experience now, because the disadvantage of throwing someone with no stage experience on now would be that you're 1-0 down, you're under the cosh. You might think, I need to put someone on that has that experience because we need to get back into this game. 2-0, as you said, can be a very dangerous lead, but it also could be in Lancaster's side. You could also think, we've got this lead. If we go 2-0 up, you might overcompensate for something. So it's about finding that sort of neutral balance in the middle.
Yeah, Lancaster may struggle with this next one as, again, York have got players who have had that stage experience at Roses, but Lancaster have only got one player who's played on a Roses stage before in George Frogson, the captain. Now, the captain's not going to put himself second. I'd very much doubt that because he'll back himself to put himself near the end, as you did last year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that didn't go your way last year. However, they will try and stray towards a more steady player, I reckon, Lancaster.
Yeah, I agree. Not to forget, though, that Theo May did also play last year and played a steady, quite a convincing game last year, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I'm looking at the Lancaster names. We've already had James Marsh, and let's just talk a bit about Lancaster after touching on York. We've got some contingency of the Lonsdale College and Conrad Edwards Key, Ben Davies and Omar, and I know that they play a lot together, and it's a lot of practice. They like to play a lot of best of even 21 to 25 about them, and so they'll be up for it. I know that Ben Davies has been, I believe he checked out a 160 in training the other day. So
Yeah, Ben Davies seems to be playing very well recently. He's really picked up in this second half of the year. He was a bit of a steady player, and then suddenly he's rocketed up in the college league. He's one of their better players. However, they have got multiple strong players in that team. Conrad Edwards Key getting his first college win this year as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a big thing. I do believe we are getting Dylan Wells up on the stage next. Now, Dylan Wells is a very, very rhythmic player. If he gets out of his rhythm, he could struggle a bit on that Roses stage.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder how the stage will affect him. Frostbite, obviously he doesn't want to be too cold on stage as we head back to the MC.
It's time for the second match. The score is currently 1-0 to Lancaster University. That said, it's time to welcome players from Lancaster for the second match. It is Dylan Frostbite Wells!
Dylan Wells, one of the George Frogson Cartmel Army, as he likes to call them. He gives a nod to us. Quick onto the shade. He goes back to do it, James Marsh, and he's and so that's a glass on the floor. But he's really engaging with the crowd, which, it's good to see. Going to give them some high fives, getting on stage, shake of the hand, nice and professional. Good song as well, good walk-on song as well. Don't Stop Me Now.
Yeah, we didn't get to the great part of that though, which is a bit unfortunate.
From the University of York, it's Jackson, the Assassin Creed.
He's playing next, a second-year politics student. Apparently, according to my form, he's been growing his moustache since Freshers Week, and playing with darts he got about 10 years ago. So, I mean, it's not about the equipment. We've seen with Matty Baker last year in the Decider, using his Amazon darts. Great song this, I can't remember the name, but it was on FIFA, I believe. And it's not about the darts, it's about getting in a rhythm, getting comfortable with whatever setup you use, and going from there.
He could be very well played with them darts, as Matty Baker was a very good player last year in terms of, and won the Roses Decider, which shows it isn't all the darts, it is more the player than the darts.
Absolutely, and Jackson Creed's practice darts a little low, potentially for his liking, but he looks very, very focused, and both players look very, very in focus as Dylan gets a rather sarcastic hand up there after the practice start found its way outside of the board. But good grouping by the looks of it. And I think this could be a rapid encounter. Both players look like they've got nice, quick throws and want to get on with it.
They seem like they can really get in the rhythm of a match. Good respect there to start off with. Jackson to throw first.
Looks like a good start from them. It's 2 in the 20s again. Thomas Robertson, 2 big numbers. He'll be right happy with that. What can Dylan respond with?
He's there, but he seems to just let his arm get the better of him. Steady again there.
Very steady for Jackson, who, no emotion. He looks in the mood today.
That was a bit of a struggle of a throw there for Dylan. He seems to be struggling a bit with getting in the rhythm. He's a wayward darts just by one segment. He needs to get in the big segment there, doesn't he, Campo?
Oh, absolutely. And again, a player that really sort of came onto the college scene this year from Carmel. Didn't really heard of him last year as he gets that first down. Fantastic visit. And now the pressure, all of a sudden, after 3 pretty solid visits, is back on Jackson, who gives it. First real sign of emotion from Jackson. Gives a quick look back to the crowd. 294 plays 286 in the first leg. Dylan now trying to get back into his rhythm, following that 140. And it's a 40, so not a bad score.
Follow up his great score from the last time. Maybe it was just a blip again. And that
is a fantastic visit. From unfortunate for the counting of 169, but realistically, he's more happy about the massive score there that he just picked up. And 22 for Dylan.
Dylan's really getting his rhythm here. He's only got 1 big visit. He's struggling to hit 2 big numbers.
And as you were saying that, 66, 125, and 95. He's really put the pressure on Dylan. 74 plays 219.
First one's in the 14s. And he's bust the score in the treble. He's a high scorer, this Jackson, isn't he?
He is. We saw that in the women's game earlier with Amelia Harvey, who busted 100. So it happens. You're trying to float it in, and it just magnets to that treble training segment.
Yeah, he should have really stayed there when he was on the 20 segment. He probably should have gone to the 18s, to be fair, to leave himself at least a finish.
Jackson now has scored 29 in this visit, 18. So it looks like it's 45 left, I believe. Good scoring visit this is. It's good.
Can Dylan put a dint into this?
A 16 to leave himself a 2-darter for 40. 3 darts in hand.
He's going just inside there.
Can't really see where those 2 have landed.
And he's struggled there. He's landed just inside and then outside the board on the 2 double 10s.
Start on the 20 segment here.
Oh, he struggled with
looks like his flight.
Dropped his flight.
He's fallen off.
Get back in the rhythm.
And 20. So what is he going to go? Is he going to go double as a shout for the crowd? Double 19 tops or
no, he's gone to the 18 segment.
And 12 and 16, that's 48. Yep, leaves himself 50. I don't go for the ball if you get a chance.
He's really getting. He really can't get to the double 10 there. He's really low.
As we've heard, scoring for show, double for dough. Will Dylan go for the 50, the bullseye? And he hasn't. He's gone for the 18. He's another sarcastic motion. Leave himself on 37 in the first leg with a big 13 there. He's gone 15 for double 10. 17 for double 10, you're right, yeah.
17 for double 10 there.
Jackson. It looks like he's just gone inside the 10 segment.
Yeah.
Switches up to double 5. It's a hard switch up. Because you've got to go from the bottom to the top of the board.
Isn't people's favourite change there, especially as when you go inside the 5, you do leave yourself an odd number. It's a struggle.
And it looks like Dylan's hit double 6. And going double 6, double 4. Couldn't do what Lucy did earlier in the women's game. As Jackson on 10. Trying to work his way in. And it's just gone in the double 12 by the looks of it. That is an inch away from being on the left side of double 5.
Very unlucky dart there.
2. He's come inside. And he's gone up above. He's ended up in the madhouse.
Double 1. The dreaded double 1 in.
Jackson still refusing to split,
Oh,
and he's
and
gone in the
again,
big
he's gone in
12
the
on the
12.
second dart. Now, Dylan will want to go high with the first dart to ensure that he gets as many chances as he can, and he has. Work his way in. Slightly closer, and that's
Great second marker dart there for the third double.
It's a break of throw, and Dylan looks, after that early weathering of the storm he took from Jackson, he survived a load of missed darts at double and has found himself somehow, you have to say, 1-0 up in this game.
Yeah, I don't know how he's managed scoring power. His scoring power was a struggle, especially except from that 140. He was struggling to get 2 darts in the big segment, and now that seems to have got on Jackson's mind a bit. He's struggling with that big segment, as he was very faithful in the first segment.
Obviously been broken, and now not struggling to really throw his darts as straight as he was in the previous leg, a 37 and a 30. He just needs to take a moment maybe, and straight darts, maybe a big treble will get him right back in this game.
He's managed to get 2 big numbers there, which it can be helpful for him, especially 100, almost over 100 in front.
Yeah, and Jackson has now thrown last out the board. Jackson on 4-8 versus 3-4-3.
He's really struggling now. He's gone 1-0 down.
Can
he manage to pull it back?
Dylan has to be careful though. He can't think that Jackson is out of this leg. With a good steady ton, has suddenly Jackson started worse off this leg, but he's looking in better form now.
Yeah, well, you've got to bear in mind, Dylan may miss starts at double, which Jackson did in the first leg, so you can't get ahead of yourself and start thinking, I'm scoring well, I need to get better.
And speaking of, Jackson has fired in back-to-back tons, and now all of a sudden, Jackson is starting to get maybe a bit of swagger back. Maybe he's looking a lot happier than he was before.
Yeah, we've been talking about rhythm, and he seems to have really found it now. But that was a great response there for Dylan.
And this leg has seen some, in the last few visits from both players, some quality scoring. Will he go to the 18s to leave a finish? No, he went. Interesting there. 20 would have left him 168, which is a bogey number, as Dylan's on 184. Switches down to the 19 segment, and he scores 39, leaving himself 145 after 21. 183 for Jackson in the second leg. Dylan's 1-0 up for Lancaster.
And that's a lovely 26 there. Lancaster would love there, especially for Dylan. He's just gone below the treble, and he's gone inside the 25.
I think
so he has left himself a ton.
He could go bull. He's gone treble 19 to leave himself 43, so it should be 102 scored. And
he was just below then. The referee needed multiple discounts. He may need to get his calculator out later on.
I can't imagine that be allowed on stage with a 43. Dylan on 43 for Lancaster for the match in what could be a pivotal turning point. Looks like he's hit the free. He's gone up for tops, just outside the top. And he's just come inside, so he left himself 23. 114, only a one treble
very
combo.
Unlucky second.
Well, now it wasn't go.
Perfect.
It won't go. So the 114.
Pressure on Dylan there.
And he's wide it twice. And then the third is just to the right.
Unlucky.
And he's given the door open. One's favourite choice. It's just outside. It's a bit lower. And he's hit the double 10, which is what Dylan wants, ironically, and this could be for the match. Oh, and he's gone inside the... Be an issue. This double 5 go Jackson a load of issues.
Jackson with his doubling.
It looked like it as 1 double 2, and you have to wonder if he thinks about splitting it after all the trouble it's given him in this game. But he'll fired it twice.
Can't keep his steadiness on them doubles.
Big one from Dylan. He'll want to hit the double 2 now. Oh. And
he's finished both legs on double 1. That's a
yeah, it's 2-0 for Lancaster.
0 down in the first leg in both of the matches. They seem to get really shaken early on in it, even though the scoring power from Jackson then was impeccable later on in the leg and in the first leg. He just couldn't seem to get his steady hand on that double 5. Do you think that Froggy's going to go a bit weaker here to try and make sure that he can put his better players on later on, or do you feel like he's just going to keep powering on and try and get that win early on?
See, with hindsight, for me, like, I would compound the misery with York. I know York are going to put on a good player. I'd maybe go for my 2 or 3 because obviously Froggy will have ranked these in his head, so he knows who to keep for the end for a decider. He knows who to play if he needs to win, clinch it at 4-1 or 4-2. He'll know who to put on if they're losing. So I think Froggy will know himself his order, and I think you've got to go for a 2 or 3 ranked player here if they haven't played already. You're in a very, very favourable position. You're 2-0 up, away from home. You've got to imagine that the crowd will continue to pick up as the evening progresses, and you're not going to get this muted, I guess, support for York for much longer. You've got to imagine that it won't last for much longer. They're going to pick up. They're going to get behind their team. So you've got to think, maybe I go aggressive and put on one of my heavy hitters now. I can get it to 3-0. I can get very comfortable. York are then, not only are they 3-0 down, but now they're mentally thinking, we've got to win. They're putting some more pressure on themselves. So I think I would go aggressive. I wonder what George Frogson is going to do. He's looking very calm.
Yeah, very calm and collected. He's got a very comfortable cushion here to try and get further on. Now, it doesn't seem like he's going for a strong player. However, he's looking very comfortable with it, with himself. I think he's probably going to try and solidify this. And he's got multiple players he can try and go for. If he wants to try and go strong, then he can maybe pull out a Harry Ray.
And Omar. No, Omar.
Yeah, Leon, Omar, Ibi. We've also got Connor
later.
Edwards Key as well. It's a very strong showing from Lonsdale in this year's Roses. And Boland has dropped off a bit in terms of their representation, which was almost trying to take all the spots in the team at one point, we seemed.
It did feel like that. Boland, the College League darts winners for Lancaster the last 2 years. And their university level players have always helped them. We had a couple in the women's. We had Anna Tompkins, the Boland women's captain. We'll see later today Louis Everett, one of the self-proclaimed big dog, because we're not going to give him that title.
Yeah.
Because it's Louis.
He's a bit too full of himself, in my opinion.
I think in the opinion of many as well.
Yeah, very true.
But he will always show on the big stage. And I am very much looking forward to the ones this evening.
Yeah, the Boland players are very, very confident in themselves, and we'll see that with Harry Reardon as well today. He will be very charismatic when he's on the stage. You might see a lot of pointing, especially no matter if it's a big score or small score. He does love to get the fans involved and get the pointing involved.
I think it's a part of his routine at this point. It's just an impulse reaction, as it looks like we are about to get underway with the third game, as our MC is just getting into position in framing. We definitely have Ben Davies for Lancaster, could see on his shirt, but I am yet to know the York player, and we'll let you know when we do. Over to the Master Cooler.
Now 2-0 to Lancaster University. Up first, from Lancaster University, we have Big Ben Davies.
And he certainly is big. Big Ben is getting a lot of support from his Lancaster faithful. Gary Anderson's walkout song, which is, quite loud. I can barely hear myself think, but jump around. He was hoping to get the crowd maybe a bit more active, but again, Lancaster high-fiving all their faithful.
You will see a lot of Lancaster support in this one, especially from the Lonsdale fans here. You'll hear a few songs being sang as well when he hits 60s and 20s or 40s, if he does.
Hopefully not for our ears. Arthur Young, third year. He's coming for York. He's bringing a can of Pringles onto stage along with his darts, giving a high five to the York contingency and skipping, and some of the Lancaster ones as well, although some are intentionally missing him out. He's offering Pringles out to some smartly dressed individuals in the far corner. I'm not entirely sure.
Arthur was a player through Rose's Bees pool today as well earlier on. Unfortunately, he did lose his game. I believe it was 2-1 he lost. He did manage to get a frame. However, he's going to really struggle if he's just travelled all the way from the glass house, which I did do the walk before. It isn't a great walk. However, he might have got his recovery just in time. Big Ben, he has been here all day, so he could get that familiarity with the atmosphere, but we'll soon wait and see from Arthur, as Ben did have some strong darts then, and Arthur just getting, and he does seem to be struggling, getting 2 in the 1, and then the last one from the fans.
And it does seem like Arthur's plan is to reinvigorate the York fans who fell a little flat in the last game with all the double trouble that plagued Jackson. He'll be hoping that he can lift them up as he's still chomping on his Pringles as we get ready to start the 3rd game of the night. Ben to kick us off in the 3rd match of the Open 2s.
Yeah, and Arthur really needs to get the juice back in the York fans again after going 2-0 down. He's got 1 big treble there. He's going to love that, and the fans are loving the 69 as well.
Of course they are. And Arthur is celebrated. That must be the most celebrated free I've ever seen in my life, but I respect it. Ben is looking at the early part pretty steady, back to back.
And he's got another treble there. Great strong performance there, and he's getting another 1 in the 1 again. It does seem like he's either struggling on the stage or he's just trying to get the fans going again. He's not really bothered about his win, it seems.
Maybe just the lie isn't working for him. And apologies for maybe a slow comment of this game when Ben's throwing, as his shadow for the back camera is blocking most of the dartboard.
Yeah, we was talking about this earlier on today. Lancaster does seem to have some very tall dart players, which does seem to be blocking the view quite a lot of the camera today.
So we'll try and see from the angle about 15 to 20 feet away from the board, sat down, but it looks like a good visit here for York.
Yeah,
45.
2 big numbers there in the name of Thomas Robinson. He'll be right happy with that.
Ben just cooling off a little bit, but as I say that, he rattles in a treble.
Managed
20.
to get another treble there. He's really getting his scoring power up here.
1-1-7-6 after 15 darts is nothing to sniff at. And the thing I'm liking about Ben's performance so far is he looks completely in the zone. He doesn't look phased.
He looks composed here, doesn't he, Campo? He doesn't seem like he's going to be shaking or anything like that. He's left 130 after I believe it's 18, which is a very strong performance so far.
And he didn't need to bring the ball in if he hit the treble 20 and the 20. So interesting to see what he would have done as he hits 30. He cleans it off to make a nice round ton, treble to double. His opponent all the way back on 268. So you've got to feel that Ben has the advantage in this leg as he goes for the treble 20. I believe it's just below. He might go double top. Oh, he gets a bounce out, which he won't be happy about. And another bounce out.
I spoke about this earlier on today. The dartboard that is on today is prone to a lot of bounce outs, especially for Lonsdale players. The way they throw is very loose in the grip, so they don't really rock it in. However, can he come back at it and go tops here?
Well, Floaty goes in the
he's
single
just going on 1.
So he's got to be careful he doesn't mess around too much with this. He's gone in the Treb 17, so he's scored 52. So he's got 28 left, so double 14, I believe. I think that's the route. And he has scored 52. Arthur, not double 14, Mensa Sulovic's favourite double, but not everyone else's. Arthur back on 216. Would want to put a bit of pressure on with this visit. However, the 1 isn't going to help him. Maybe go out of ball for the lever finish? No, not quite.
He hasn't left a finish now, so now he's only got
28.
He's just gone inside double
looks
11.
Like he's hit double 11, yeah, so he's double 3. And he's on 3, so he probably would have to bust this, you'd imagine.
Yeah,
And he's bust that, so his scorer's reset, which is good thinking.
Smart decision there from Ben.
Double 3 can be very treacherous. As Arthur back on 175. Hits 41.
And he has finally left himself a finish, Arthur. But can Ben finish this off?
And he's gone inside the single 11. 17. He'll just take a second to compose himself. And he's hit the treble 1 by the looks of it, so he's split it, really.
Double 7.
As a 1-3-4, this is what I mean, Kyle. If you could be ahead, as Ben was a good 150, 200 points ahead, but Arthur's been slowly chipping away. Some loose visits from Ben, and he's not completely out of it.
He's just below there on the double 7, and he's hit it in the second dart. Great second dart there from Ben. Steady.
And another aspect
35 dart leg there.
Another aspect of Ben's game, as mentioned before, no reaction at all to hitting that double. It's a very business-like approach. as we've now got the York faithful starting the Yaya Colo chant, which if you pick up, it's as simple as that. But it's good that we're trying to get a bit more of the atmosphere in. Maybe there'll be some more fans that will come in later.
Will Arthur manage to bring it back again now in the second leg? You're seeing the York players have struggled after going 1-0 down.
Yeah, they have. The advantage Arthur has here is that he does have the darts in this leg, and he started with a couple of good visits and a 49 there, 39, 59 there.
The York players seem to be really loving it here now. They're getting the atmosphere in. I don't seem to really think they're that bothered about the darts. I think they're more just here for singing.
And it's interesting how loud they're being with just 5 or 6 individuals, which is quite impressive. I wonder if that will affect Ben. I can't really tell with the shadow. 22, so maybe these chants...
He's been struggling in this leg, really. He's gone 1-0 up, and now he can't really hit 3 straight darts. He seems to be struggling with the singing, which he's usually used to being on his side when he plays for Lonsdale.
So, interesting to see how he reacts now. He's a good sort of maybe 60, 70, 80 points behind now. 317 plays 280 in the second leg that Ben for Lancaster is 1-0 up in. 45 is 235. So Ben has some work to do to catch up. It's a good comeback leg, I guess, for Arthur. It's been nothing special, but it's been steady. And we got a 60 from Ben, as you mentioned the chance. We didn't have any there, which is quite frankly brilliant.
I'm surprised by that because he did seem to want to do that. But
an 83, Arthur, and it's the first real outpouring of emotion. He leaves a 152 and a 140 for Ben.
Great scoring there from Ben.
152 plays 117. 2 good darts in the 20 segment. And 1 bounced out of what looked like the treble, and that could prove costly if Ben could put a dent in this 117. Starts on the 19s, which I personally wouldn't do, because then you can't leave treb to double. So I'd start on the 20s, but Ben's gone a different way. Scored 22 to leave 95. Could go bull or it looks like a single or treble one.
Treble 1 there, so he's left himself 109. And he's gone for he's got a treble 20 as well there, which leaves himself 49. Will he go for a 9?
17?
And he's gone for a 17. I think he's gone in, and he's hit the 17.
80 to leave himself 32 after 27. 95, I think, for Ben has to go. He's gone into the 2, I think. So 93 won't go. So Arthur has a chance. As Ben has been the better player for the majority of the game, but Arthur here with a 1 dart could make it back.
He's gone inside there.
16. Inside the double 8.
And he's just gone inside the double 8. And he's missed the double 4, going inside the double 18.
Will he go 10s here? I think he'll go 10. Oh.
Outside the board there.
Has he gone 16 for the bullseye
16
for the
ball.
match? And it's wild. It's
hit
a wild
13.
visit there for Ben. Gives himself 37. That looks just to be on the outer wire of the double 16, and so does that. And now Arthur's moving all the way to the right. Stephen Bunting territory. Now he's going back to the left. Trying to fix it. It's very awkward. Both darts are flying up. It's an awful blocker. It would be a fantastic
view
dart.
that you can see.
Jokingly measures out the hockey to the left side. It would be a fantastic
the Lancaster
dart.
players are saying he's out of line.
And that was
an unlucky dart there. It gathered well with the other darts. He's hit the 5 and he's gone for the double 16. And he's just missed it. He's just wired it.
Maybe double 7 it's gone in, so maybe double 9 it would leave. And it has. He hit the double 7, which he checked out on the previous leg. So leave himself double 9. 32 back again. Big 16. Looks for double 8. Why is it? Just to the right, he'd like it. And he has got it just to the right. And as we said, Kyle, it could really come back to bite Ben of a couple of sloppy visits in that second leg. And now Ben, will he be feeling the pressure that a Yorkshire chant? 26 is not great. Now, if Arthur starts, the crowd could do their job and put immense pressure on Ben.
Yeah, Ben's got to do something that no Lancaster players had to do from today in the Roses Bees darts and go from 1 leg down. Well, they're drawing 1-0, but he's lost a leg. Can he manage to recuperate himself and bring it back? And he is struggling a bit more here. He's not scored over 30 in this leg. And there's another bounce out there for Arthur.
Arthur just composed himself after the dart flew out the 20 segments. We had a 20 and a 19, so a 39. So still a bit ahead, about 35 points ahead of Ben, just under. And Ben's a big 1, and looks like he's switched and hit a 7 and a 19. So it's Oh, yes, apologies for any swearing that you might have picked up there. We do apologise for anything like that you hear. Obviously a raucous crowd, and we do
And
wish that
Ben
there was
hits
any.
another 26 there. He's really struggling to get out with that 30 scoring mark. And another 140 there.
And
Arthur's
Ben
got his
Arthur
first
is
140 of the day.
in his element, getting the crowd chanting his name. It reminds me of Ruben from York, a really big showman, as he's back in the treble, 22nd. And I have to tell you, this is a fantastic deciding leg. He's left 1-3-4 after 18. Ben back on 3-5-9 with the darts. So the darts have been stolen. A big 100, but you've got to imagine that York is still in the ascendancy.
Yeah, Arthur seems to be really in his element now. He's brought himself back from that 1-0 down, and he's really bringing it back. He's left himself 93 after 18 darts, meaning that he's got a treble to double visit. And
Should start on the 19th here. A single leaves 74. He'll go maybe 14s or 18s, depending on what double he likes. And he's gone.
he's gone for bull there,
Maybe
which
on
leaves
74,
himself double 12.
Well, it's a good route.
It's a decent route.
29 leaves himself 64. Nice, because he can stay in the 16s and 8 segments, which is a nice little section of the board.
And he's gone for
double 16.
And he still hasn't left himself a visit there.
It looks
He's
like
gone
he's
inside the
16.
16. He's gone
Two
a second
16s for
16,
double
double 16.
And he's gone in the single 8, leave himself double 12.
Can
You've got to
Ben
think
try and
that
get himself a finish here now? Can he put some pressure on?
after being pegged back, and it's just not happening for Ben in this last leg by the looks of it. As I say that, 119
Great
proves me
score.
wrong. More pressure on, but Arthur still in the ascendancy. Apologies there for any language you might have picked up from a chant in the crowd. As Arthur
And
misses,
then
he comes inside. Double free is not where he wants to be. 78 for Ben in the decider. He's gone in the skinny 18. Oh, he's gone in the treble 1.
He's just missed
Doesn't
a big
want that.
number there.
Give himself 51. Double free.
And he's
got
gone inside the
inside.
3. And
He's bust.
just busted his score. He's gone inside the 18 instead of a
Looks
1
like
there.
he's gone 11 for tops for Ben. Just to the left side of over double 5. And over the double 20. So 40 plays 6.
These are
Arthur.
nervy darts now. Can he see the
Very
double
low.
3?
And Arthur turns around, shakes Ben's hand. Arthur giving it big to the crowd. York, this could be the result, Kyle, that after York take this one to make it 2-1, that spurs them on. You've got to feel for Ben. He played well. He just faltered a little bit in the second leg, didn't give himself enough opportunities, and Arthur in that last leg, his scoring power was fantastic. Ben, he's a bit disappointed. A bit of a shakes Kyle's hand and played very well.
Yeah, he's very unlucky there. He played well, very well in the first leg. I think he just was a bit faller. He fell down from the third leg. I think his head faltered a bit in the second leg after dropping that leg. And then Arthur really just picked himself up with them with a 140 and then a ton. He just really helped himself get over the line. On double 3 as well, which is a very hard double, very much Jacob Breslin-like in his first year.
It's an awful double because you've got to go split it then afterwards, but credit to Arthur not wanting to split, going straight for it. And as we said, 2-0, you look comfortable, and then you get to 2-1. And now York thinking, well, we now have the momentum, or Lancaster thinking, okay, we lost one, we can just pick it back up. Look, he still played well, Ben.
He still played well. I think it was just a bit of a struggle there for him.
Later today, 8 p.m. at Hendricks Hall. But that makes it 2-1 to Lancaster in the Open 2's darts. A pretty eventful start, some good game. Just to recap, we had the first game was Maddie Kill again for York against James Marsh, and James Marsh with a fairly domatty display, didn't let Matty have a dart at double.
Yeah, very strong performance here with a over 50 average.
So great work from James there. Matty just didn't find his rhythm, I think it's fair to say. Second game we had was, I believe it was Jackson Creed against Dylan Wells, and both players, I think double trouble is the best way I can sum up that game.
Yeah, that was probably the best way to do it.
I
believe that I will be stepping off in the next game when Theo May steps up to the dartboard, and Maka will be taking over his pride and joy. Maka's pride and joy is Theo May.
Well, Alexander Lafferty, also known as Maka, the voice of Roses last year. He had some, quite frankly, Shakespearean level of yapping that was. It was received well, so he's wanted to come back for finesse. No York players or staff or anyone associated with York has wanted to do the twos commentary yet. If any of the players are listening or would like to jump on comms, then absolutely feel free.
Yeah, they're more than welcome to.
We're always happy to step out. And then that third game we just saw, just to finish the recap of the games, it was Arthur Young who came back from 1-0 down. As at the words of Rob Buckler, all the best players go 1-0 down. It's true for him because after he went 1-0 down, he seemed to get better. And it was the opposite for Ben. Ben was cruising in that first leg, went 1-0 up, looked very comfortable. And then all of a sudden, it was like he lost his way.
Yeah, he seems to really try and get his momentum behind him when he got the York fans going. And then as soon as he got that momentum going, he was no stopping him, really. He got on top of Ben and really made sure he put the game away and made sure York had a match on the cards.
And it does make it a match now, 2-1. A load of quality players left to come. And I believe that Kyle is stepping out to my right. And jumping in next to me is the voice of Roses, Alexander Lafferty. Maka, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Matt. And that's how I was about to introduce you. I think the fans think that you are the voice of Roses Dart, so it's a pleasure to be back.
It's great. It's fantastic picking up the commentary. Now, 2-1. I don't know how much of it you've seen coming back from the Crucible. What have you seen of the twos so far, and what have you thought of the performances?
Fortunately, I arrived in time to see all three games. I think the Lancaster lads have held the nerve very well, especially in the first two. But close games. I think all three were close games. They could have gone either way. Sporadic scoring. I think inconsistent, but at times powerful. If the lads can settle on stage, we might see some really good games towards the end of it. But I think the likelihood is it goes quite nervy as it gets closer.
Definitely, and I think as obviously Lancaster had the home crowd last year and it sort of helped them, but this year, and I think especially in that last game, as Emily Tomlinson has waved, so shout out to Emily Tomlinson. Kopak is one of your friends. Anyway, going back to what I was saying about the third game, I was just discussing it with Kyle. As soon as Ben Davies won that first leg, the York chant started, and it just seemed to me like Arthur channeled those. Obviously a bit of missed starts and a bit of slack visits from Ben, but it just seemed to slowly knock Ben. And then he lost that second leg, and Arthur with a couple of great visits, and all of a sudden Ben's thinking, well, I've got the crowd against me, I've got my opponent's now turning it on. So I think that sort of played on his mind there. And I think that if York can get that crowd going, if they can start waxing lyrical on their own player, if they can start getting behind their team, Lancaster are in for a torrid affair.
No, I absolutely agree, Matt. I think when York won that first leg, the scorer give it big. I think it galvanised the York crowd. I think they're bang up for it now. And banging the match at only 2-1 down. And if that crowd can get going, Lancaster will do well to hold the York charge back. And I think definitely going into the ones tonight, momentum is important. I think the results prior to the ones coming on tonight will definitely influence the mentality of the players. Momentum is massive in darts, we know that, and York winning that last game could be a turning point in the day.
Definitely. I think that you're completely right. Momentum is at the forefront, and it's an interesting time now for both captains, I guess, because you've got to wonder how aggressive they're both going to be. We were talking about it previously at 2-0. At 1-0, you'll have your plans if you've gone 1-0 up, 1-0 down. 2-1 with it up in the air, and the next match being pivotal. Obviously, they've all been pivotal. They are all pivotal clashes, but it really feels like after the latter half of the last game, it feels that this next one, if York can carry that momentum, this could be crucial. 3-1 or 2-2, it's a massive swing. So I think that you've got to be Froggy for York, for Lancaster's got to be careful on who he puts on because they're going to get bombarded probably by the York crowd. And the York captain, Dan Scott, has to wonder, who do I play? Do I play, as we've been talking about, Solomon and Sol, this fresher that they've got in first year? He's been pointed out as a player to watch, and obviously know nothing about him. But would you now throw him on now? Would you get the crowd behind him? His first Roses, you've now got the crowd. It's not like it's been heavily dominant by Lancaster, because we certainly heard York a lot more than Lancaster. So I just wonder now if Dan would put his class player on. It looks like Lancaster have made up their mind on who is playing. It looks like it will be the Ham Hock Theo May, one on stage last year. He's wearing his quite tasteful, I guess would be the word for it, Stephen Bunting bucket hat. Waiting on the York opponent. I believe I can see him there. I can't quite make out who he is on the back of his shirt, but any game against Theo May will be a tough one. He's in good form. He's been telling me he's been practicing well, so the York player definitely has his work cut out, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. Difficult decisions for both captains. I think pivotal turning point in the game. The difference between 3-1 and 2-all is massive. So definitely big decisions. How strong do you go? Yeah, looks like Theo May is prepping himself there. So good none for Lancaster. We know what he can do, but will no doubt have a strong York opponent. I think it was crucial for York winning that last game. Being 3-0 down is almost unrecoverable, whereas now they have a chance to level the scores and really get that crowd going. So important job for Theo to try and stop that.
Absolutely. As we hand over to the master cooler to introduce the players for the fourth game.
2-1 to Lancaster University. First up, we have the representative from Lancaster University. It's Theo Hamhock May!
As we expected, and as we saw, it will be Theo May with the Stephen Bunting bucket hat. He's, apologies if you picked up any language there, gold, because he's a big Stephen Bunting fan with the singing. He will entertain. That's the way I can put it. He is an entertainer. Puts the Bunting hat over his water bottle. Looks very calm. He said he wants to just play his normal game, not get caught up in any events on stage, I guess.
Yeah, Theo, young but experienced beyond his years, represented Lancaster at Roses last year, won on the Roses stage, and hopefully can keep it together here. Big York reception here.
As Jacob Simpson is the opponent and absolutely lapsing up the crowd. Nice, taking his time. He's absolutely loving it. He's looks like plays pool as well, so maybe your neck of the woods, Leia. He looks very nice bleached blonde hair. It's sort of, I wouldn't call it surfer, but I'd call it in that sort of general direction. And it's a battle of the hairs, Maka. That's the storyline for this game. It's the battle of the flowing locks of Theo May versus the bleached blonde of Jacob Simpson.
Yeah, very interesting storyline here. Theo with those golden locks and the bleached blonde of Jacob Simpson. Great walk-on song there. Bit of Depeche Mode, and great from Theo with the Spandau Ballet number. Both men looking confident with the warm-up darts. Be an interesting game, this for sure.
Definitely, and we say about warm-up darts and how it just seems like we're taking these for granted. It's exceeding the amount of pressure playing on stage, and obviously the stage at York is considerably smaller this year than it has been in Lancaster in previous years, so you've got to make sure that when your opponent's walking back, you're in position, you're ready. You don't want any Gerwin Price where he's throwing at the opponent that's still on the hockey. As the fourth game is about to kick off. Jacob to throw first. Here we go.
And of course, Matt, this is us resuming our commentary duties for the first time since that decider last year. And we're already in the treble 20.
It's a great 81 start for Jacob Simpson, who, no emotion. It's a lot of the York players, very businesslike when they hit big scores. Left-handed Theo with a 98, so a good start for both players. Let's see if they can maintain this level, because if they can, it would be a real quality affair.
Lacklustre score there from the York player. Perhaps the first visit didn't settle him down as much as we thought. He will be feeling the nerves on this stage. Like Matt commented, quite a close, enclosed arena. The crowd almost right on top of you. Definitely can see how this could get nervy later on if the scores are even.
Definitely, and after those good visits to start with, we had an 81 and a 98. It's gone 30, 18, 30, and now Theo's visit. So those starts haven't been an indication of how the game has gone. Maybe both players maybe a bit too pumped up, adrenaline after that first good visit. So looks like they're going to try and maybe get more into their rhythm. Jacob quite methodical by the looks of it. It seems to work there with a 66 free trebles visit. We're only 66. He won't be happy with that, but he won't mind. Theo is a quicker player, so it's more of a, I guess, Mensa versus Price would be a fitting comparison.
Yeah, I think so, Matt. Theo, very, very rhythmic player. Once he gets going, the big scores will flow. The York player, Jacob here, certainly more methodical with his throw.
Crowd getting involved again. Any mistake Theo is making, the crowd are jumping on, and it's not a constant buzz here. It's pretty flat, all things considered. But whenever Jacob has a good score, as he will in this visit, with a 115 there, puts him on a finish after 18 darts and about 100 ahead of Theo. 134. I'd go 18s here.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. 18s, and he went for it. Loads of time. Theo not on a finish yet. Jacob's power scoring has afforded him the luxury of time, and finds the treble again there, the treble 17, to round off his score.
Good. I wonder if he'll go 18s or 10s. It's an indication of what type of player he is. 10s would be for tops, 18 for the more double 16. He's gone 18, so you'd imagine that it would go 20. And he does, to leave double 16 for a tidy leg. And it's gone just inside the 8, so he splits that. So he leaves 24. Theo way back on 205, but a treble here. And a 76 by the looks of it. And it is 129, but you've got to imagine Jacob, 24.
You definitely fancy Jacob from here, but Theo putting a bit of pressure on there with the big score.
And Jacob has wired the double 6 on his second dart, who came inside. And the first one is in, and that is a 27 dart hold of throw. And it's a great start for Jacob. After the great start, he did carry it up. And Theo will just need to deal with the chart. And as you can probably hear, the chants are coming out. Well, as I say that, they stop. But that's the sort of thing that Lancaster will have to be worried about. As Jacob's back in the treble 20 for the 9 darter. Oh, just underneath. A chorus of boos, as there should be. But a great start nonetheless.
Yeah, just as we said before the start of this game, Matt, York winning the first leg and the crowd getting up for the occasion. The crowd definitely will get involved towards the end of this game. And that is the advantage of having a home Roses.
Definitely, and I wouldn't say that Theo's particularly done much wrong in this. So maybe a couple of lackluster visits early on, but it's been more about the scoring power of Jacob and just how well he's been playing. I'd say that. And a 125 for Theo puts him right back in this leg after Jacob's good start. But here he is again, back in the treble 20. It's taken an absolute battering in this game.
Yeah, he's in again here, Jacob. And Theo struggling to keep pace with him at the moment, but back in the 20 again.
You can tell when a player's playing well when an 85 is something disappointing with a lie of the first 2 darts in the treble and just below. You'd imagine he wanted to fill that up, but unable to do it on that occasion. He still, with these darts, will be ahead of Theo with a 38, so it's neck and neck. 270 plays 2-3-4. Yeah,
all to play for in this leg. Theo suffering an unfortunate bounce out there, and now definitely the advantage lies with Jacob. He'll look to leave a finish from here. Got to be careful with his counting if he does hit a treble.
Which it looks like he will with the 18, so 79 there, which does leave him a finish, albeit a very difficult one. Some heckling from the client for Theo as the switch didn't go to plan, the 20 to 2 sevens as a 155. He's gone 19s first, which I don't mind. It's Looks like it's just landed below. Back upstairs now. And then to the bullseye for his last dart.
Rounds off his score nicely there. Theo on 211, looking to leave a finish.
And he can't quite leave the big fish by staying straight with the last one. And again, Jacob's scoring power is just giving him that extra visit ahead of Theo. Even though Theo started with the darts, it feels like Jacob has, and he's just not given Theo a chance to really get into his rhythm.
Yeah, Theo needs a treble on this visit now to put some pressure on.
And that awkward lie of the 20 segment, he'll leave 159. That's some pretty unfortunate, or you could say poor counting from Theo. 72 for his opponent. He'll go 20s, 52 left. And he's a safe big dart, double 16. And for the match, that could have been wrapped up in quick time. As it is, he'll come back for 16 after Theo leaves the bogey number, which he'll be disappointed with that treble after leaving it.
Yeah, great darts there from Theo to leave a double from 159. But now Jacob in for the match on double 8.
Just come inside, so we'll move up to double 4. Just come inside again, double 2. And the sarcastic jeers of the Lancaster crowd. And you've got to imagine Theo, given a chance at 22, is quite lucky to get the chance.
Yeah, Jacob in the madhouse here. Theo on the double 11 just outside. I think he opted to split that double 11 there, Matt.
Interesting. Was your opponent on a finish and how well he's been playing? I'm not sure I agree with that. But a double 1 the madhouse and come inside with a second dart. Theo back on 22, and it's just wide. That's clipping the wire. He's done it again. And they've all come within a ½ inch of going in. Unlucky for Theo.
Yeah, all 3 darts on the wire there for Theo. Jacob looks to pin the double 1 to win the match.
Started high with the first 2. Part of the match, and this is where you make your pay for the roses. And it's Theo May with a 34 darter on double 11, which he realistically shouldn't have been afforded the chance for. Jacob couldn't pin the doubles, and we're into a decider.
Yeah, Theo very fortunate to get down to the double after Jacob's great scoring in that leg, but once given the chance, he cleaned it up, showed great bottle that we know he has. Theo's just got to hope he can score well now to keep pace with Jacob in this decider.
At 26, bed and breakfast, or Jeff, depending on which university you're from. So it's not a great start for either player. 41 plays 26 in the scores, but it looks like Jacob's now finding his lie of the 20. It's a steady 60, we'd call that. Not really threatening the treble, but nice and steady. Puts a bit more pressure on Theo now. And already you're starting to feel that Theo doesn't get a good score in the next visit or two. The leg could be slipping away from him.
Yeah, you feel that Theo is really under pressure here to find a treble, considering Jacob's scoring so consistently. Another steady 60 there, and Theo really needs to find a treble to keep pace.
He's under the cosh here, Theo, against the darts as well, which never helps in a decider, and he's gone 22, so he's given a 50 sizable lead, 50 points to his York opponent, Jacob, who looks like back in the treble bed. We haven't seen a 180 on the Roses stage since Sean Liddell at York a couple of years ago, but a 140 he will absolutely take. And that's the power scoring that Jacob has produced that Theo, for the most part, has not managed to, and that's been the difference. A couple of those big ton visits, and Jacob is within a few visits of the match.
Yeah, Jacob, 177 points ahead at the start of this visit. He'll be looking to leave a finish. Hasn't managed to, but still has bags of time here. Theo needs to find some trebles to catch up.
And it's one big treble, and he'll be disappointed with that after the first start landing the treble 20 to not get any more. It was there, the live, but started downstairs, did Jacob, and it's a free, and then up to an 8-2-9. Yeah, excuse me. He's 98. Theo is just not able to get anything going in this deciding leg. 98, a bit awkward if he hits the treble 20.
Yeah, 98, very awkward finish. You've got to go to the 20s if you want to finish it in 2 darts. Jacob, though, looks like he's just teeing it up here with a good visit to leave tops.
And it's another fantastic scoring leg from Jacob. He's left finishes at 21, 24, and 23 darts, but he'll be open to wrap this one up in quick time. And he's gone into the 1, so he'll go 7, 19, or 3, depending on what he likes. He's gone 7, maybe? He's gone into the 7 till he's double 16. Theo back on 2, 1, 3, and he's got to get a couple trebles.
Yeah, Jacob will like that leave, especially if he's a double 16 player. Theo with only 55, and the York man here to pin the double 16 and send us to 2-2.
Just steadies himself. And that is eventually a commanding performance from Jacob Simpson. It was a bit nervy on doubles in the second leg, but an overall 52 average with a 59 first 9. A 26 darter in there. Theo May dejected, not happy, but I think it's fair to say that he was, on this occasion, and you don't say it often, was just outclassed.
Yeah, good performance from Theo. I think a strong performance, but the York player, Jacob, had too much from there. The first 9 average of 59 was unbelievable there from the York man. Strong performance and sends the scores level at 2-2.
Change of entire complexion of the game. The York are now in a full voice. Well, by the sounds of the celebratory cheers, they are in full voice. Jacob Simpson makes it 2-2. 5 games to go. I can see some of the Lancaster players heading towards the practice rooms, maybe a little unnerved now at being 2-0 up and seeing their teammates fall in the last couple of games. And it's been that heavy scoring that York are just seemingly capable of. It's just been consistent. It's been just constantly high scoring. It means that they're afforded more chance at doubles.
Yeah, it's definitely game on now, Matt, at 2-2. York crowd will be well up for it. Lancaster might be a little bit nervy, having led 2-0. But I think Lancaster's performances haven't faltered. I think York have just found a gear, and Lancaster will have to do the same again if they want to keep pace with York, because at the moment the momentum lies with York.
Absolutely, and as you said before, momentum is key in darts. You've seen times we've seen Rob Cross earlier in the year was 4-5-0 up against Littler in the Prem. Littler 1-6 on the spin with a couple of ton plus finishes. Obviously different standard completely to what we're seeing today, but it's just the same aspect of you get that momentum, you get that for those couple visits, you get that, you pin that double, all of a sudden you think, oh, okay, I can do this, I can start scoring big, I can go straight, my darts will fly how I want to. You get over that initial pressure, and then you're sailing. So just something for all the players to keep in mind is that you're never comfortable in this game. We've seen it with breaks of throw, with holds of throw, where players should never been afforded darts at double. We've seen it with legs that have gone to pull off. We saw in the women's game earlier. You never know, and it's double trouble for people. That's where you'll get caught out.
Yeah, definitely. You're never sure what's going to happen in these situations, and now that we sit with the scores at 2-2, effectively a best of 5 men left for each team, and who knows what will happen with from here. I'm going to hand back over now to Kyle Bailey. I'll see you later, Matt, for some games in the ones.
I certainly hope so. Appreciate your time, Macca. Yeah, it's welcome back, Kyle. It's been
Thank you very much.
How was it like in the crowd? How were the crowd?
It was a very hostile crowd from the York fans then. You could feel the pressure on Theo, and he just seemed really steady playing. Then the York player, forgot his name. What was it?
It was Jacob. We were talking about his power of scoring. It afforded him. And the second leg, he wouldn't be happy of losing that. Of how Theo was so far back. But it just goes to show you score big, you give yourself so many more chances at double, and then you can afford having a few misses. You can afford having a visit where you have to split, or you have to come inside, you have to change your route, because you've just given yourself that cushion. And it got a bit nervy, maybe, for Jacob after getting back to 1-1, but his scoring never faltered. And as we were talking about earlier, that York atmosphere, the hostility that they can create for the Lancaster players, that's the key. And if they can continue to keep that up, I think that York will grow even further. We've seen the last two games. The York crowd has been, apart from a little bit in Matty's first game, it's been rather dead the first two games. But
well, Lancaster can try and switch it round now. They are kind of a big hitter on now in Harry Raiden, we think. He is a very charismatic player, as I was saying before, and he can really try and switch the tides and get the Lancaster fans back into full force, as the Lancaster fans were struggling against the York fans then. I think Harry Raiden will really bring himself to his best performance when he's got people watching, as we feel like that's the best when he plays compared to when there's no one there. He played a game in his cross-campus game a couple of weeks ago, and he had no one there and he struggled, but in front of people he thrived with it and was really good.
Yeah,
So,
and he's one that feeds off that energy. He creates energy for himself. Obviously, Harry Riordan, not just a darts player, was a 2 times Roses footballer player, was a part of the bowling squad that came to Roses last year and succeeded in their victory, and was also in the college selects yesterday, who rode out 3-0 winners against the third. So, again, he's used to playing on big stages, in big games, in cup finals, and that sort of occasion. So
will there be a difference, though, however, when he comes on the Roses stage? He is used to being in a team sport when the pressure is spread among players, but now he's just give us a point there to Matt Campbell himself, the former bowling man. But he's can he deal with the pressure on the stage when it's just him? He does love pressure, and he loves getting the attention all to himself when he's pointing and he's laughing and he's trying to get the fans to pump himself up. So will he be able to perform on this stage? What do you think, Man Carpo?
I think he's got the ability. That's no question. I think with Harry, the first 3, 4, 5 visits will be absolutely crucial in this game. I remember watching him once where he was getting trebles, he was pinging darts, he was throwing straight, and it would look like he couldn't be stopped. He was check out combinations, treb doubles, and I've seen him in other games where it's not quite going his way. I remember played against Fylde in the Bar Sports League back in Lancaster, and against Archie McLeod, who we'll see later today in action in the ones, and it wasn't going his way, and his whole demeanour changed. It was more of the slow it down, try and disrupt his opponent, which doesn't suit Harry. Harry suits it's a quick throw that he adopts.
Yeah, he's a very quick player, and he likes to be in his flow and get that game moving, and where Archie did like a slower game which suited him better. So I feel like Harry just needs to stick to his own game today, not worry about the York player, and really focus on getting his arm going and throwing, and I feel like he'll just build on momentum as the game goes on.
Definitely right. One thing George Frogson said to me before is that it's important that he reminds his team to keep their throws consistent. Don't feel you have to speed up or slow down depending on it. Just keep your throw consistent. And I think that's just forward from Lancaster in the last couple of games, but they'll be looking to get back on track. I'm just looking to see if I can determine who the opponent will be for York, and I can't quite yet. Maybe the captain, Daniel Scott, might put him on next, might put himself on.
Yeah, so they're just waiting currently, just for him to come back from the bar, I think. We know that darts players love a drink as well, especially on the stage. You wasn't a drinker yourself last year, was you, Matt Campbell?
No, I wasn't.
Until afterwards, but
yeah, then the pint started flowing.
And
I
the
think
pint started flowing.
Look, you've got to do whatever's comfortable for you. If you play, I'm not aware of the York system, but if you play in the UD UK scene, you play in your tournaments, you play in local comps, your ADC vaults. If you have a drink or two, and that soothes your nerves, that calms you down, brilliant. If you don't drink when you play darts, you just play with water or Coke or something like that, maybe keep to that. It's not a case of, you have to fit the archetype, you have to do X, Y, Z. It's just whatever works for you, and that's something that is just a testament for darts in general. We'll see a lot of different unique throws today. I know that a lot of people have been experimenting with throws, different dart setups, different equipment, and that is something that is just normal. There's no way, you can't look in a dictionary, you can't look online, you can't look at a video of how to hold a dart, how to throw a dart, how to play darts. It's completely subjective.
No, it can really change depending on the person, and people can really struggle with that. We've had a few players like Max Savell last year. He was in Roses A's last year, really struggled with dartitis, really started to focus on his throw and ended up just switching to his left hand instead of his right hand.
Still amazing he can do that.
It's still amazing that he can do that, but it shows the level of player that you can be, and then as soon as you switch one thing, it goes downhill. We see that in multiple players. with dartitis, and people come over it. Some people don't come back from it. Now, Harry Reardon's got a very interesting grip on his darts. He's very much a fingertip thrower, which can really suit you well because you're not worried about the pads on your fingers. Now, I do believe we are going to the MC now, who's going to be announcing the players.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the 5th match. Score is now tied at 2-2. Presenting our player from Lancaster University. It's Harry Jean-Paul Bartra, Reardon.
And Jean-Paul Darcher is a nice handshake there from Riordan for the commentators, the first to acknowledge us. Jean-Paul, on his shirt, he would like me to point out, has been spelt incorrectly, not on his accord, by those who ordered the shirt. So,
yeah, he's walking out to Randy Orton's theme tune here. Has he got voices in his head when he's up on that stage? He really doesn't want that if that actually is happening, because that can really get in his own head.
Definitely. And the York player is Jasper, the oldest player, I believe, playing today is Jasper Berg, 27 years young, doing his PhD, won last year in the Open Twos, and he was rather sparse from 180s. Took a year and a half apparently to hit his first one, and he's hit 4 in the last month. So Jasper coming into this in seemingly good form, and a rapturous response from the York crowd.
Yeah, I remember last year he had a very strong performance. He was very steady. It's just whether he can follow it up again this year. He's an elder statesman in the team, so maybe he can deal with the pressure a bit better.
So a real test for Harry here. And it looks like he's throwing some flatties, maybe some Jan van Veen style influenced from the young Dutchman.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously, at 27, Jasper is considerably older than Jan van Veen. So maybe it was the other way around. Maybe he influenced the Dutch superstar who's been rather unfortunate in recent times. That loss of MVG recently, a week or two ago, was he played well. But enough about the professional circuit. We'll get back to the Roses. 2-2. Harry for Lancaster to throw first.
Yeah, so Harry throws first, and first out in the treble, and he's already playing up to the crowd. First out in the treble. Oh, and he just can't follow it. But that's a great score, and there goes the pointing already.
First of many, pointing to the Lancaster finest, and Jasper throwing some very flat darts. He's gone treb 1, double 1. He'd get a massive score in if he hit a single one for Shanghai in chair game, but not to be. And Riordan, this is what I was talking about. Harry with another point, but he gets off to a flying start, and he will be very
loving
difficult
this
to
pressure
catch
out
up.
here. He's loving it. He's turning round to the fans every time and nodding his head, pointing. He's loving it.
And apologies for any language you might be picking up. The commentary is very close to the York faithful, who are not only having a lot of pints, but a lot of singing. And we will apologise repeatedly for the repeated obscene language. Hopefully we can focus more on the darts than that.
Now they're saying it's a bus stop in Preston, which is much further away from Preston than they think it is.
Geography obviously not their strong suit. Maybe they should stick to darts. Anyway, we'll get back to the game, and both players have sort of gone off the boil. Well, a 64 from Jasper, so he's looking like he's got a nice raise of the elbow, but it's not really
transpired. Yeah, he's got a raise of the elbow, but he's got a very long pause in between, which may mean he's struggling to follow that dart that he gets in the 20 segment. Harry Reardon, though, he's got a very rhythmic and very fast throw, which can help follow that first dart, and he's got another 60 there.
It's been steady for Harry, a couple big visits, but he'll want to find a couple treble visit. I think we'll be disappointed that first visit where it was in the treble 21st start and couldn't follow it. I think that he can really get the crowd going if he gets a big score.
Yeah,
226, he's got 25 and he's got 45, so he's on 181 after 18. York all the way back on at 326, but as we've seen in the previous games, if Jasper can get 1 or 2 big visits, he'll
Which
be
he's
right
going to
back.
struggle with right now, as he's got 2 off the board. He's only got scored a 5.
Sarcastic jeers from the Lancaster fans, as Jasper looks a bit sheepish after that visit. Harry, though, back on, 25 scored, so he leaves himself on 156. We'll leave a finish no matter what he hits, and it's a treble 5, so not the end of the world, but
1-4-1. It's a common 9-dart out route.
oh, both of them are on it. 1-4-1 for Harry and 3-2-1 for Jasper. And again, apologies if you're picking up any sensitive or obscene language that are being chanted by a number of the York crowd. Harry Riordan looked like he went downstairs to start with and scored 40 there.
So he's left himself with 101, which is a 2-dart out route, but I don't think he will be. Well, he could do, as he is a very flashy player.
He could do, but he could even go treble 17, double 17 and go from there. But I think he'll start on the 20s.
And
17.
there you go. He gets his first treble of the day.
And he
Jasper.
starts on the 17s, so he's left 74. Will he go double 17 ball, or will he go for the 18s or the 14s maybe? He's gone for the 20s and 74, which is interesting. So he's double 7 for Boland, of course. 48, leave himself 53, which is a nice single to double.
He's got a very shoulder in his throw here, Jasper, which can throw your dart off as you're getting more action than the lower arm. And he's managed to hit a double there at the top. There's no apology there, though, from Jasper.
Can't leave him.
And he's walking back slowly, trying to put Harry off. But Harry's not having any of it.
17 for double 18 for Harry. First start is in. 17.
And he's just gone inside the 18 there.
On Jasper on 172, a couple of trebles will be good. And you've got to wonder how far behind he is will determine if Harry will go maybe a 10 or a 6 to split. Maybe a 2 to lead double 8. Maybe 10 or 6 is safe. But you just have to wonder whether Jasper 142. You think Harry might not think he will take this, or will he go straight for it? He's gone straight for it.
And he's hit it. Second dart in the back. Big roar there from Harry. He said he was going to get his roars in today, like a bit of like Gezi Price.
A good, or maybe a Martin Schindler after his recent success.
Yeah, very true.
In Austria, I believe it was. And we're getting some Riordan chant from a singular member of the Lancaster faithful. I don't know who it was, and it's
very passionate, passionate
and short-lived.
And here
Jasper
goes Harry, second.
Just feels like Jasper hasn't settled, really. It's not looked particularly convincing on the heels of his 2 York teammates who've done so well to get them back into the fixture.
No,
Jasper's
he seems frustrated with himself here. Seems very frustrated with himself. He feels like he can do better than this, and I think he's struggling with the pressure up there.
I think so, which is interesting after last year's impressive, I think it was, win.
Yeah, and he's really slowing down this year. I think he's really trying to put Harry up his game.
Which the mind games are a big part of ours, but a 95 and a point into the camera from Harry Riordan. He's a showman in all ways. And a great treble 20, though, from the York player. 72.
And then follows it up with a dart out the board.
Puts it back in the leg, though, and Harry's got to be careful now after these good starts. A treble
First
20
start
turns
in.
around. I don't know. Wouldn't stop if it were me. Oh, and they're
Second
both in.
There we go. He's trying to bring
Could we
up
see
the
the
crowd.
first 180 in 2 years?
Oh, and hits a 140. The fans are booing that, but we respect the try and trying to get the fans to.
And a couple of inches out that was. A fist bump between the 2 players. Jasper is maybe not resigning himself to his fate, but he doesn't seem particularly in any rush to get going. He's on 3-3-4. Harry stolen the dance with on 2-2-1, and he's in the single, so he stays straight and he'll leave a finish. 81 left. And he's hit 51 to leave the big fish.
He's left the big fish. He's left 170, leaving himself a treble 20 bull visit.
Now, I don't want to be a mystic, but I'm going to predict the first one's going in the skinny one.
Yep.
Just because you get yourself so wound up.
Yeah,
he's pointed to the camera.
And he's pointing to Campau. Will he hit it?
And the first start's in.
It's in.
The first start is in.
The
Can he
second
follow it in?
Second's
in.
He's gone for the
Could we see a
bullseye.
170 for Riordan?
Oh!
And it's in the big 2. And at the
hits
moment,
it
Jasper
in.
is a mere spectator to the absolute
That was very
showmanship
lucky.
circus that Harry ordered. It's a great leave on
He really
48.
tried it, and he's laughing to himself
I
now.
think he will be a bit disappointed with just how far away that bullseye attempt was, but with 48 after 18, he's 15 darts even. He's playing fantastically.
He's left himself 48. Harry is very renowned for his random routes, but he's gone very traditional here. He's gone for 16 for double 16 and wins
And
the
that
match.
is exactly what we're talking about with Froggy. That is a quite simply fantastic game. A 17 dart leg for Harry Riordan.
62 average
With a
in
77
that game.
first
very,
nine.
very strong.
Jasper, I don't think there's anything he could do. Very well played there.
Very well played, Harry.
Harry,
How
just
did that feel on the
I knew it was going to happen. It happens in practice. It happens against Matt Campbell. I'm just the best, mate. That's all it is. Thank you.
And we did say he was a very confident player. He loved it, and he's loving that Roses stage, and I feel like he was in his element. I did say before that he loves a big game, and he's just proved it there.
If he could, I think he would play every single leg for the Bees. He has just produced the performance of the day with a 60-odd plus average.
Which could be the performance of the day for the rest of the evening.
Oh, very possibly is.
With a 62 average. Frogson seems very happy with that, George Frogson. He's just nominating his next player.
And that is a statement put down by Harry Riordan. Puts them back in the ascendancy. The 140, the 122 to leave 48 on for the 170 effort. I think the only thing he was disappointed about was that the 170 wasn't closer.
Yeah, I think he really wanted that to go in. You could tell in his face when that second one went in. He knew for a fact that he was going to try and hit that bullseye.
No thought in his mind of splitting. He was going for that no matter what. His opponent could be on tops of the match at the Worlds, or as he was 200 points behind, and there was no doubt in his mind that he would go for it.
Yeah, and Froggy there, he was quick with his nomination then, very quick. It could be the fact that he's very confident in who he's putting next. We can't see yet, but it seems like it's going to be Omar. It could be Omar.
Well, left for Lancaster, of course. Omar, Connor Edwards-Key, George Frogson himself, and Big Hayden Crook.
Yeah.
4 pretty strong names, I think it's fair to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. I feel as though that they're trying to save Hayden and Froggy till the end. I feel like that is the strong decision as well. Hayden's a very steady player, strong player. He made himself through Rose's A's wildcard spot, I believe, and he. As he was a very strong player. He's been a strong player all year for the uni, playing for the Bs and playing for the A's, and he's was a strong performer as well at the UDUK event this past time.
And of course, we can't forget for Lancaster's sake, he was the winner of the inaugural Royal Rumble.
Yes, he was indeed. He the very first Royal Rumble, and he's looking to continue that for next year, as he's looking to be president next year of the society, which I believe is a very, very good appointment if he gets the role.
It'll be contested, of course.
Yeah, of course it would be contested, but I feel like he's got a great personality on him, and he's a great player as well, which can really bring people around him.
Definitely, a big personality as well as player. And then for York, we've got the captain, Dan Scott, Benjamin Waterhouse, Dylan Severy, and then, as we kept saying, and I'm waiting to see Sol Lugmeyer, I'm interested. Billed as the player to watch for York University, a fresher. I know we've mentioned it a lot, but it's not easy to go on that stage. Harry Riordan made that look ridiculously easy, and it's just really not. We've seen nerves get the best of players, and so getting a fresher as your player to watch.
So it does seem.
Or did he?
So it does seem that we've got it wrong apparently. Sorry, Solomon is a PhD student, and he lost on the Roses stage for Roses Ones in 2023.
So is Dylan the?
So Dylan must be the fresher.
That's my. That's
which
my
is interesting.
error.
So he must be the player who's one to watch. Now, any fresher on the Roses stage is very interesting to watch, especially with Lancaster have had a lot of Roses players who's freshers. For example, George Frogson, the captain of the Bees this year for Lancaster, and you can understand that pressure on the stage. It's a real struggle, especially because you're not used to playing in a uni setting, never mind on a Roses stage, and especially any stage whatsoever. He could really struggle today, but we'll have to wait and see. What do you think, Matt Campbell? How was your first experience on the Roses stage?
Well, it wasn't ideal, but I think for me, in hindsight's 2020, but you've got to enjoy it. And I was talking to co-women's captain Anna Tompkins, and obviously by the time her game came around, it was 7-1 to the Lancaster women's, and it was pretty comfortable for them. And she just said, well, I can just go out and enjoy myself. And that's something that you've got to do. You've got to keep in mind that this is, at the end of the day, it's a great experience for you. You're playing on this stage. You're getting the opportunity to play in front of your friends, your family on live streams and radio. And it's easy to get taken up in it and get really focused and sort of put a lot of unneeded pressure on yourself. So keeping yourself loose and calm, it's a lot easier said than done, obviously. But that's the sign of someone that can just enjoy themselves. And then you're more likely to win because you're playing loose, you're playing fresh. Like Harry Riordan, he knew going on stage that he was going to win because he was just so calm. He was he knew he was going to put on a show for the fans. So he thought, oh, I'm just going to go, I'm going to do my game. My game's good enough to win. I'm absolutely fine. And it's just that carefree mindset that you need to possess.
Yeah, exactly. And the last thing you need is to get in your own head, which he didn't do, as I said earlier on with his entrance walkout. He didn't have voices in his head. He was fully listening to the fans behind him, pumping him up and making him feel the big deal that he was on that Roses stage with the 62 average.
Well, he really set the tone with his first start of the match was a treble 20, and the point back, the look back to the crowd. That's when you sort of knew that this was going to be a game. And I do feel for Jasper. Jasper he clearly wasn't comfortable up there. He didn't perform to the level that we know he can. But at times, it reminded me of, obviously to a much lesser extent, of the Michael Van Gogh and Michael Smith Premier League game where Van Gogh set the highest TV average, and Michael Smith was just a bystander for much of that game. It just felt that Jasper was just throwing in between. Yeah,
he wasn't really the star performer in that one. It was all of a Harry Roden performance. It was basically his stage, and Jasper was just a guest on it at that point. He really tried to make it his home, and Harry Roden absolutely smashed him at the park.
Absolutely. And to do that to a high-quality player for the university that's played and won at Roses before is no mean feat. So all credit to Riordan. Now 3-2. Slight edge to Lancaster. Obviously, with the blind nomming system, it's hard to know who's on who. The MC is asking for the two captains for a meeting, potentially to discuss noms, but I think it's to discuss noms, which George Frogson for Lancaster has already said that he's given his nomination, so the MC is just looking to make sure he's got the right players. Nothing worse than like what happened with Matty Kerr last year, where his walkout song, Matty Keel's walkout song last year, first game, and it was the wrong walkout song.
That's very, very embarrassing and very upsetting, especially when you've thought so long for your walkout song and it's just wrong. It's all wrong.
You got through the process to be here on the stage, and you got the wrong walkout song, but he got pushed outside last year and won. Wasn't able to replicate that this year.
Yeah.
So it looks like it is Omar.
Yeah,
Omar
Big Ohms.
Played for the Lancaster University. I know he's played for the Bees and UD UK a couple of times. One, as we said, part of that Lonsdale contingency that like to get practice. And even from last year, when he got to Bees finals night, he just narrowly missed out, losing to Joseph Stevenson Hornby. But even from then, you can see that he's really upped his game a level. He's obviously on a lesser stage. He's averaged anything high of 60, 55, 60. He's got that in his locker.
He has had a 93 average by his own words as well.
Well, we've all hit 9 darters by our own word as well, so,
yeah, so
we'll go with that too.
Take that with a pinch of salt, maybe.
Or a whole truckload. But
yeah.
My only issue with him is if he gets a bit caught up in the occasion, and Again, I saw him practicing today. Another like Harry, nice, fast, rhythmic player. Just again, we saw with the unicorn board, and we mentioned it with a couple of Ben Davies' darts. A couple of bounce outs got him, and you worry that with the way Armour throws and the way his darts sort of lie, could we see a couple of bounce outs for him? And that would really just sort of be problematic, because you're a visit or two behind if you're bouncing out of the big trebles and your opponent gets a good score. It's just the psychological the deficit of that as well. It's just one to watch out for as we get into this next game, as we wait for the York player who...
Yeah, we currently sit at 3-2 to Lancaster after Harry Roden just won his match. Then we saw, to start off with, we saw... Who did we see win first?
We saw Matty Keel versus James Marsh.
That was it, and James Marsh managed to get a solid 2-0 win. Seemed very comfortable up on that stage with a 50 average. And then we went on to the second game,
which was Dylan Wells versus, I believe it was Jackson Creed, and that was a tale of missed darts.
Yes.
Jackson on double 5 in both legs in a 2-0 win for Dylan, and scoring was good, but again, as Rob Buckler would say, scoring for show, doubles for dough, and double 5 deserted Jackson at a really pivotal time. But it was after that, it was a strong performance from back-to-back York players. I believe Arthur Young was next, and again, went 1-0 down to Ben Davies, and it was looking like Lancaster could go 3-0 into the ascendancy, 6 legs on the spin. But Arthur got a couple of good scoring visits, aided by the fact that Ben Davies sort of lost his way a bit in the second leg.
He struggled in that second leg. Struggled in that second leg, and then couldn't ring himself back in the third leg, and was struggling with his scoring. And he really just brought himself back, Arthur, and made himself really comfortable on that stage. He was pumping up the crowd in the first leg, and we didn't really know why, as he wasn't scoring very well. But in the second and third leg, he was really scoring well and getting them scores flowing. And
definitely, and then quite the opposite. It was more of the first game, but for York's benefit this time, it was the game after was Jacob Simpson, and his scoring against Theo May, who's a good player himself, was nothing short of fantastic. He never looked in any danger. Theo got a leg, and realistically he shouldn't have. Theo should never have had any darts at double in that game, but Jacob was so far ahead. 137 left Theo on double 11, which he eventually managed to pin a couple of visits later. But a few missed darts from Jacob, and he fought. Again, 1-1. Jacob's played so well. Could he lose? And no, he came out with the blocks firing. I think it's maybe a 22, 23 dart leg to win it in a decider, which is, again, I mean, that's 60, 65 average shot.
Very strong
brilliant
performance.
And that would have been
in that second leg a bit with his doubles. But he really tried to pull himself through in that third leg and proved it very well.
And that would have been the performance of the Bees so far if we weren't just hit by about 5-10 minutes of thunder in a bottle from Harry Riordan for Lancaster. Jasper Berg, a quality player and a winner of the Roses stage last year, had no answers really to a 65 average from Harry, a 140, a number of ton plus visits, and a missed start for a 170. I mean, I won't say it was very close, because I can't lie.
No, but he did try, bless him. He did try, and he was very close. And I feel like that really knocked him off his rhythm, Jasper.
And that would have been a 170 for a 15 darter, which is a ton average. So even if Jasper had been on his game, Harry wrapped up in 17, which is still a 85 plus.
Yeah.
That's getting to the Dev Tour,
very
the Moda Super Series circuit level. So at that point, you can't really do anything if that's been thrown against you. So that's where we stand. It's 3-2 currently to Lancaster. York to throw for the 6th game. We're just waiting for the York player. It looks like we should have a Daniel Scott's nomination in for who's playing, unless he himself is playing. He's seems to be making his way over now to the master cooler to let him know. Talking to one of the media team. Not sure what this is about. Not sure why the hold-up is for, but we'll get some darts back to you up soon.
Yeah, and then the crowd's really building here now. We're getting a few more York people here, and we don't know who's playing next, but there seems to be a bit of confusion. However, the Lancaster contingency seems to be really building as well. We've got a few people from the cricket showing up as well, and table tennis have also come and joined us for a bit. We seem to be getting somewhere closer anytime soon.
I've had a confirmation from the Master of Ceremonies that it is going to be Omar, Big Omar Ahmed, and his opponent will be Benjamin Waterhouse, a third-year maths student. Highest check is a I believe that's the right one. Yeah, highest check is a 160, which Ben Davies hit, which didn't help him, and apparently he was born with one kidney, so I'm not sure how that would affect his darts, but he's put that as his fun fact. And
sometimes it can be the odd thing that makes you better at darts, can't it, Campbell? You can't really predict it.
Absolutely not. So
He
yeah,
seems a bit nervous coming up onto the stage now. He's doing his last talks and kissing on the forehead of his friends, and he's really getting himself ready for this.
Had a word with Dan Scott as well, so his captain is hyping him up. Omar looking just very, very calm. He's giving us a smile. He looks focused. He doesn't look particularly nervous yet.
He seems like he's enjoying himself. It seems like he's getting used to the crowd, and he's been here for a while. He's had a few darts on the practice board, and he's now getting himself more ready for the game ahead. He is a finalist for the Cosmo Cross Campers that we had earlier on this year.
Yes,
which
he
was won by Hayden, who is also in the team tonight. He is a very prolific player. He managed to get in through the qualifiers this time.
I think he was an A's finals night.
Yes.
Wild card or winner?
He was one of either. Yet another one of the Lonsdale Massive that's managed to qualify to get into Roses this year. There was only, I believe, two last year in Roses A's who managed to get there. Neither are in the team this year, as one's graduated and the other one didn't manage to make it. We do believe that we are going to the MC now for the announcements.
And we certainly are, Kyle.
The score is 3-2 to Lancaster University.
Theme at this point.
First player.
Master of Ceremonies is introducing the two players.
University. It's Omar. Big O's. Ahmed.
And he walks past all of the York faithful. London Calling, which is a quite fantastic song by The Clash, if I do say so myself. Goes up to the Lonsdale and Boland and Lancaster faithful, gives them a high five. Quite treacherous that, because you have to go past the cameras, but he's managed to do it, gets onto the stage. No handshake for the MC, which is a bit poor from him, but...
From the University of York. Benjamin, the Wombat Waterhouse.
He seems to be really loving it now. He's clapping all the hands of the York players.
He's certainly soaking up the atmosphere. Sort of war chants that players are giving, and I'm not sure how that's going to help the Wombat, as it's nicknamed, but
He's
it'll help.
Great walkout song here as well. He's getting the York fans going, and I think I can see a few Lancaster fans as well singing as well, which isn't promising for Big Holmes himself. However, I think he's just getting the fans going. A bit of a dance on the stage as well then.
And Omar a bit too hasty. Wombat chants for Benjamin the Wombat Waterhouse. So I don't know what the Wombat comes from. I'm sure one of the York faithful could fill us in. And this is what we were talking about, Kyle. The York crowd get in full voice. They get a couple of drinks down them and gets them singing more, and they could pose a real threat.
Yeah, and Ben seems to be a very forehead thrower with his dart, which can keep him straight. However, he may lose that dart on the path as he's not looking down the barrel.
Yep,
so he could struggle with that.
Here we go. 41 to start off with.
Two
Ben.
big numbers there. He'll be right happy with that, in the words of Thomas Robertson.
It looks like
Yeah, steady
Omar
there.
is also being steady, and again, just like we saw with, I think it was Jasper in the previous game, throwing some flatties.
Yeah, it
Interesting
seems to be varying in flight. The Wombat starts. It may be that he's gripping the dart slightly differently, but Omar is throwing some very strong flatties there. He's the way his darts land is just miraculous how they stay in the ball, to be honest.
Yep, and flatty refers to when the dart doesn't stand up. It's sort of vertical, I guess, sort of a 90-degree angle to the board, so it looks like you've just placed it in and it's coming towards you. As Omar and Benjamin are sort of just trading, sort of just average decent scores with each other in the first early start of proceedings. Omar is slightly ahead, and these 2-1s won't help Benjamin. And he's in 18 will slightly rescue the visit, but
yeah, a bit of a struggle there for Ben on that last dart. He was trying to bring it back, but really struggled trying to keep it in the 20.
And Omar there, unlucky, his grouping seems to be pretty consistent with the way his darts lie. It's just the line of them is slightly off. 2 in the treble 5 segment and a single 5. So you look to watch that, but just that calibration. There we go again. It's just slightly off for him with a bounce out as well.
And there's the first bounce out of the day for Omar.
We did mention that with the way he throws and the unicorn board and with the Lonsdale, it's just interesting throws, and they can just bounce out. So hopefully he'll put that behind him for his sake.
Yeah,
And
he's
be able to catch up with Benjamin. He's just got a nice 79. Took the score a second.
that's the first treble of today that we've seen.
Is 22 in response, and Omar's still in the lead, but only slightly. And a good visit from York here, which looks like it is. An 83 by the looks of that. Yes, leaves him on 170. And great counting.
Great counting there.
Let's see if he can get as close as Harry Riordan did earlier.
Oh, he can't get any further as Harry Riordan does.
Just underneath the treble. But a 95 by the looks of it. Yes, it leaves him on 75.
Very strong visit there, leaving himself a 75. He's probably go to the 17s on his next one if he's going the
I'd
traditional
imagine
route.
So. A showman would go outer inner. Omar leaves
Yeah,
him
he's
on
gone for the
121.
17s route. He's missed the treble, and instead he's gone side of the 4 instead of the 18.
Yeah, and he'll go 18 again, and I believe he might have busted his score, and he has indeed. So Omar on 121. Treble 17 will leave the ball. I think he's in a single 3, so 98. He's on to the 20, so 43. Leaves himself 75 plays 78. It's still in the balance. No trebles needed for either player to leave a finish. 3-dart combo, and just
misses the top
outside of top. So 78 for Omar. Hits the treble, leaves himself double 12. Just outside. And that's in the double 9.
Double 9. Instead, he's left himself double 3, which has been hit today, but is a very hard double to hit in general.
Tops of Benjamin's just over. You want to go, oh, it's into the single 1, so can't finish now. We'll look to leave it nice. And it's hit the big 16, which isn't good for him. We'll have to burn a dart if he gets a chance. 3 for Omar. Comes inside. Double 1. And it's very, very low. So 23. And at the bottom of the board will leave a good split. But we'll have to burn a dart a double, which he wasn't really hoping for.
He's probably going to go...
He's gone 7 for the double 8.
7 for double 8.
Just inside the double 8.
And he's missed the double 4 by quite a considerable distance compared to the double 8.
He's tricky 6 after busting his score last time. And he's just below. Can he lay it on top? And he can't.
And he goes inside the 3.
8 plays 3.
So he's going to go for that double 4 again now. And he's around where the last dart was and gets the second dart in. That's a good second dart there for Ben. He seems happy with himself, giving a big roar, and the York fans are really getting behind him as well.
And that's the chance of packing back up. Omar's got to have a couple of strong visits here. Otherwise, this match could quickly get away from him with the crowd.
And there seems to be a lonesome York fan singing, and they managed to get back in rhythm again.
As Omar looks like he's about to... He's firing in. 135 for Omar.
Great score there for Omar, keeping him straight.
And this is
not to get in the treble.
And it's the power scoring he can produce when he needs to, when he's on it.
That's a great lead.
His dart has gone at 45-degree angle downwards. 59. Benjamin's questioning, I think in a joking manner, whether that dart that fell out counted after he came and got it.
Yeah,
apologies if anyone heard the language.
He seems to be knocked out by his own hand, so they're going to keep it there.
So Omar, a good scorer, and looks like he's just drifted into the 1 section a bit. We'll have to recalibrate. A lovely last start for him in the treble 20. Leaving himself 185 after 12.
He's over 200, just under 200 in front here of Ben. So Ben seems to be getting in his own head again. He's in the treble 12.
12. Alexander Lafferty, who was on comms earlier, would be proud of that one. Omar should be able to leave a good finish here. And he's only hit 7.
And he's not left himself a good finish here.
He's miles ahead of where Benjamin is, who has joined him in the 7. Back-to-back 7.
And York fan seems to be cheering him along now.
Bit sloppy from both players. Omar's had another bounce out.
And yes, another dart outside of the board there for Omar. He's left himself 138.
Which I would start on the 19s, but we'll see what he does.
Yeah, you can start on the 19s there, but you can either go around the board as well. You can go for a treble 20, and then you going around it. He's gone for the treble 20, and
like
he
scored
20
so
instead.
118. Should go on the 20s. He's gone in the 19s, or it was in the treble 20s. Apologies. So
fair
54
enough.
left. I wonder if he'll probably go 14 for tops, maybe 18 for double 18. Shout for Max Tavel, got some laughs. That's the first time that's ever happened. He's gone 14, he's left tops. Oh, and it's over. It could be a marker for a blocker for him, and it is.
It is a bit of a blocker there. It's the way his darts sit. I wouldn't say he should go for tops with the way his darts sit as well.
And he will
block that double.
He will return with Benjamin on 198, but a bounce out the treble 20. It's an 80 anyway for Benjamin, but it could have been much better.
Maybe the dartboard needs twisting a bit, as we have had quite a few bounce out.
And can't finish a dinner chant from the York crowd.
And it's been
silenced instantly. Omar levels it up. Apologies for the language that you can hear after the York fan was caught out by Omar's quick finishing, but apologies for the language there.
Yeah, the Lancaster fans really taking the mick out of the player there.
An 83 to start the decider is fantastic. Is that in the treble 20? Looks like it's 2 good darts, and it's 100.
Great ton there again.
Now they're both starting to come alive in this deciding leg. Oh, don't know what that chant was, but it went nowhere.
And a 43 there. He's not able to punish the 100, and Omar staying very steady here, and he's stayed up there. He should have probably switched down after that second dart.
Probably, with his darts landing low and flat. They're a bit of a blocker. Benjamin would probably switch here with 2 blocking the treble 20, and he has. It's just a 7 rather than 19 though, so he won't be too happy with that.
Yeah, he's dipping down with his darts a bit too low, and he's struggling to try and get it over the top. Ben, when he's throwing his darts, he should maybe drop down to the 19s here, because it leaves him a bigger gap for the double. For the treble, sorry, not the double.
And an 83 there.
He managed to get over that one there, but it still seemed like a struggle for the 3rd dart.
It's been a high-quality deciding leg, a 45 for Omar, so he's only 20-odd points behind, 245 versus 274 in the deciding leg, but it's a treble 20 here for Benjamin. It's another one. Could it be the 180?
Oh, and he hits a 140 instead.
Brilliant darts. Leave himself a 105. Omar might be in here. He is. He's not. So start on the 20s here. And he does. Is it in? It doesn't look like it, so go to the 15s. Leaves himself potentially 70. Can't really tell. Ref is taking a minute to look. We don't know what's been scored just then. 73, so 32 for the match. Best of order from the ref. Lots of boos to the crowd. 32 for the match for Benjamin. And it's not in, but
he's wired all 3 of them.
He will return with Omar stuck on 191, and Omar will have to score big. Went to the 19s, 171 to leave 20. It's a 29, which doesn't leave a finish, so Benjamin has at least 6 more darts here.
Yeah, he should probably have switched up on that last dart then.
Just in the moment, he's gone in just inside the 16 for second dart, and just outside the double 8 for his 3rd, but he will be back. Omar will have to punish.
Needs a big score again.
It's just got in the 1, so he'll have to maybe switch. He has switched. Heckle from the York Clouds.
That was a
63.
Posh,
a very posh heckle indeed. And that's a double 8 for Benjamin.
And Benjamin has won it and brought it back to 3-all for York.
High scoring first 9 with 65 first 9 and a 48 average, but a 47 average from Benjamin, who on this day just finished that little bit better than Omar. The deciding leg was what cost Omar. Great for the rest of the match. Just a little bit off the boil in the last. And a couple of great hits, including that brilliant 140. And a couple of great setup shots for Benjamin.
Yeah,
he roars admiration of the York crowd. They're absolutely pumped to have got it back to a 3-3. A great performance from Benjamin.
He had quite a few darts at that double 16 then, but he managed to put it away on the double 8. It was a very good dart on the double 8. And and he's managed to keep York still in this match. It's not like last year where Lancaster went 4-2 up. Do you think this is going to be a bit more of a struggle for Lancaster to keep going after the fall short last year?
I think it's interesting because we've got a basically new team. But enough on that, Kyle. I will leave you in the capable hands of a different commentator who introduce themselves. Best of luck and keep going. Now, so I'll introduce you to a New York. Oh, that's all.
Nice to meet you, mate. Kyle. Kyle, nice to meet you. So it's my first time commentating, so.
Yeah, that's fine, no worries. I'll probably switch out with my campo again soon. Yeah, he's really good.
What's your life so far?
Yeah, so we're back now. We're currently 3-3 in the Rosie's game between Lancaster and York. I'm joined here by Luke.
Hi there, everyone.
And so he is just stepping in for Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell's getting a drink, and then I'll probably be stepping away later on. However, how have you been enjoying Rosie's, Luke?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I'd say been around a few of the sports so far, but it's a big event for me tonight, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing how the night unfolds. Crowd could be a bit bigger so far, but I think as the night grows on and get a few people down, some of the sports end, we're in for a good night.
Yeah, definitely. So we've had a bit of a tale of two halves. We've had Lancaster take the lead early on. They was very strong in the first two games with James Marsh and Dylan. I believe it was Dylan Wells. Two very strong performances, and then York managed to pull it back, bringing two back, and then it's been evens there with Harry Reardon taking the first one, and then Ben Waterhouse taking the second one. Then
don't let me hear you say that. It's Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Oh,
yeah, is he not
name.
happy? Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, we was calling him Ben, and he won't be happy about that whatsoever. Yeah, Benjamin. Can you give an explanation to the Wombat nickname?
Well, I'd like to say it's from the obviously the band, but I think he went on a darts website, and it was a random generator, and Wombat came out as his darts name. It generated itself.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, we was wondering about that one. It makes a lot more sense now, because it seemed a bit odd compared to his actual name. It had no relation whatsoever.
No alliteration whatsoever.
No.
But he's growing into it. He's got the celebration, and yeah, he's fully thrived tonight, and a great win for him.
Yeah,
and,
he did really seem to love it on the stage. Then, has he played on Rosie's stage before?
Not that I know of. I think it's his first time around.
Right, okay.
So a solid B's player this year for uni, and yeah, going from strength to strength. And I think these last few weeks he's honed in on Roses being his target, and fair play to him. I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, great win. We are wishing a successful time to Lancaster, who are currently leading, I believe. I'm not sure what the current score is, but it was around 40 points last time. This is only a 2-point game, so this won't sway the results that much. However, York could be coming back later on, as we have got the Roses darts ones later on, which we're very much looking forward to. How are you looking forward to the ones later on?
Yeah, I've really seen the guys, especially from the York end, coming on, but I've heard great things from Lancaster. I can't comment, as I say, on their guys, but York will be providing their end of the events tonight, and it should be a great night, and hopefully, as I say, the crowd will build even more.
Have we got any strong performers for the twos that haven't played yet, that we're looking towards, or have we managed to get to a point where we're on a steady players now?
Yeah, I mean, all the guys have, throughout the year, they've got their strengths, but Dan Scott coming on hopefully soon. He's the captain tonight of the Bees, I believe, and he again has just grown from strength to strength this year, and well, he looks like he's shaping up to come on now. So yeah, time will tell.
Yeah. So it seems like we have got Hayden Crook versus Dan Scott. A very, very good game. This one coming on. I believe they will be announcing soon. Hayden Crook, he is our current cross-campus holder and Royal Rumble winner. So he's a very strong player. He's been struggling the past few weeks, but I believe he will bring it back on the Roses stage. He's a very strong player when it comes to pressure games. He is one for saying that big games bring big players, even though he doesn't perform very well in little games. So that's probably why. However, this is a big game to put Lancaster up to 4-3, so it'll really show it. How do you feel Dan's feeling going into this?
Yeah, I mean, he's a small guy in stature, but he's a man for the big occasion, and he's looking calm as we just look over to our left here, exchanging with Lewis, an A's player who's just taking his space in the crowd here, and it looks like Evan's just shaping up to get on the mic and lead proceedings, as he's done excellently, I'd like to say, so far.
Yeah, so now we'll just hand it over to the MC, who will be announcing the next game of the night.
It's time for the 7th match
Yeah, so here's Hayden now. He's a very strong player, very smiley player from the looks of it. He's going, saying hello to the Lancaster fans, the Lancaster faithful who have travelled here to York today. He's a very strong player. He's played for the A's, he's captained the Bees in the UD-UK games this year. So we'll see how he performs on the stage today. Dan Scott's going to do with this pressure now. He's been a Roses player before, but he's back again. He's shaking the hands of your York players.
Yeah, he took a deep breath there when he came on. So I think it'd be unwise to say that he's not a bit nervous, but he's taken the crowd's hand there, and a very loud walk-on song to hopefully put him at rest, which he seems to be doing so far.
Yeah, he was singing it when he came onto the board. Then he's really looking focused on this. So Hayden there, he's just getting his first practice starts in. And it does seem like Dan throws some flat as well. Me and Campbell was talking about this before with the flatty darts where they point downwards. It can be detrimental when you throw above the target, but he seems to be really working it well there, Dan. Must be why he's the captain.
Yeah, he's, as I say, a man for the big occasion, hopefully, and he's just throwing a few good practice starts there. So here we go, underway.
And here's Hayden to throw first. First start of the night, and he gets it straight in the 20, or he's straight into the 1. And then a 24, not strong start there for Hayden. He'll want something better than that. And then Dan's followed up with a 26, not much punishment there.
No, it's nice, just to talk about Hayden there, to round off a nice 40 there when you go into the 1 with a 19, just to round it off.
Yeah, and he's managed to get a 58 there. That's a bit of a stronger visit, getting 3 straight darts there. And then we now have a 28 for Dan. He seems to not have kicked into gear yet. And Hayden seems to be flowing in a 40 there. It's not fantastic. It's not the best game we've seen all night. However, Dan managed to get 2 in the big number and then followed it with a 1.
Yeah, a big step up there from the 26, 28, and then a big jump to 41. So let's see if he can climb a bit more.
And that's a great ton there for Hayden. He'll really like that. He's got a big cheer from the Lancaster fans.
Big smile for them as well.
Yeah, and then we've got a 45. He needs to really improve it if he wants to try and get in this game. And then he's just managed to hit a 28 in Hayden, so can Dan punish this? And there's another 45 there. He really needs to pump up and get 3 straight darts in a segment here. And there's another 41 there. We're getting steady. He's got around 100 lead. 210 plays 316 for York. And then he's hit a 26 there. He really needs to pump up his scoring here, Dan.
Yeah, that gap seems to be opening up slightly, but we'll see how Hayden reacts here.
Yeah, and a 46. He's managed to leave a finish. He's good counting. He's left himself a treble 20, treble 18 bull finish. And then first 3 straight darts there for Dan today. And he's gone for the treble 19, treble 19. And he stayed in the 3 segment. Oh, and yeah, he's managed to stay in the 3 segment and hit a treble 9 there. And then he's hit a 6, leaving himself 224. He's gone for the bullseye to leave himself 199, but he didn't manage to do that if he hit the outer ball. He's hit a treble there. Oh, and he's just missed the treble 19th to leave double 16, so he's hit the 7. And so he's scored 76 there.
Dan just looking up there, he's normally quite good with his maths, but he's take a second look at Evan there to see what he's left.
Yeah, and 73 here, so we'll go for the treble 19. I do believe he's hit the single, so he's gone for 14 for tops and hit it first dart. Strong finish there from Hayden, making him 1-0 up in this match.
Yeah, nothing but credit to Hayden there. He's just never looked in doubt there. That tops was just eyeing him up, and yeah, he's just walked through that door to give himself a 1-0 lead here in this game.
Yeah, and Dan really needs to pump up his scoring here. He's really struggling on that stage to get the 2 straight darts, and Hayden's managed to get another 3 straight darts there. He's going to be more than happy with that. He's walking back with a smile. He's loving it on that stage right now. He's loving the lead, and there's Dan. He's hit a 60. That's a stronger score than his last one.
It's a bit of a shame here because you can't really grow into a game. As you say, it's 2 legs and you're dead here. I mean, you just need to. You can't afford to start slow. And Dan just growing in, and from a York perspective, he'll hope that he can. And he's just looked at the ref again.
Yeah, and there's a 30 again. We're just having an issue with the scoreboard right now, but I think we're catching up slowly. And then we've got I believe it is switched down again and got another 40. We're on a lower scoring end in this leg. However, I do believe we will pick up slowly. And there's 2 straight darts. And he's hit a tops there. There's a no apology, I believe, after that, which could be frowned upon, but he seems to be more than happy with himself.
I don't think the crowd have accepted it anyway. I don't think, nor Hayden either.
Yeah, that's very true. And then he's managed to. He seems to be clicking into gear slightly more, Dan, now. He's scoring above the 30s, which is a promising sign, whereas Hayden's struggling in this leg a bit more. But then he manages to hit a 140. It gets the fans going and loving it, blowing a kiss to the fans. And there's a 39. He can't come back at that.
It's a psychological hammer blow there. I mean, seeing a 140, how do you react to that?
And there's a 24. Hayden scored 200 and York's on 237. So he needs a strong score here and managed to get a 60 there. He's pushed himself in front over Hayden.
York crowd looking a bit pensive here. I think a few hands on chins.
And 2 darts in the treble again for Hayden. 1-2-1. That's left himself 79. He's probably going to go for the treble 19 here. And he has left himself a finish. It's not a great one, though. Oh, he's hit the treble 17. Oh, just gone inside the double 11, unfortunately. And left himself and hit himself a 1, leaving himself 16. He's going to have a chance at this. Going inside. 59, so he's left himself 90. Hayden's got double 8 to win the match, and he's hit it. First dart. Great dart from Hayden. Hayden there with a 54 average, very strong performance. Dan seems a bit disappointed with himself there. He didn't manage to get out the gate, did he there, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, quick as a flash. I mean, the game only felt like seconds there, and I mean, Dan, he did like the occasion got a bit on top of him there, but full play to Hayden as he comes over and exchange a Lancaster fist bump there.
Yeah, he gives a fist bump and a little cheer to himself. He's put Lancaster 4-3 up. Lancaster have got on that hill. They just need to get the 1 win.
So Dan will be a bit disappointed there, but Hayden played superb. I don't really think you can argue with that. When your opponent's been better than you, you shrug your shoulders at yourself, and that's not what you want. But Hayden didn't give him a chance there. So as I say, fair play to Lancaster and Hayden there.
Yeah, so that leaves us on a 4-3 win to Lancaster so far. We've got 2 more games to go. For Lancaster, we have got Connor Edwards-Key and George Frogson. Now, Connor Edwards-Key is probably the weaker player out of the 2, as George Frogson was on the Roses A stage last year. And he is the captain for the team today, so I'm interested to see who he's going to nominate here and put the pressure on as he goes into the last game. Is he going to put the pressure on himself? He does struggle a bit on the doubles under pressure, but can he do it?
I mean, York will be hoping certainly you can't, and we can't speak quite yet as to who York have got. I think I can see Sol here, just turned up with a huge, what looks to be a cricket bag, so he'll have to have a bit of time hopefully, but I think it'd be interesting in Sol's walkout song. A bit of a change of sync on the classical side.
Oh, right, okay, interesting. We've been wondering who Sol is on that. Is he he's a PhD student, I believe?
Yeah, he's on the older side of 20, but I think that's only just given a bit of time to play more darts than everyone else here, maybe. So, yeah, as I say, I'll be looking out for his walk-on song, bringing the mood a bit more classy, let's say. Yeah,
so we seem to have scattered a bit on the fans. I believe everyone's getting a drink now, having a break in between the matches. we've got 2 more matches left of this game, and then we're going to be going into the A's darts at the end of the night at 8 o'clock, which I believe is in around an hour and 15, so not long now. Have you got any predictions for today?
One thing I will say is just speaking forward to the Ace fixture. Don't want to wish this Bees affair over yet, but Jack Fresher, he only came along to darts quite recently. We play a sort of internal here at York. I won't say we. York, we play an internal darts league, a college one, and we finished that quite early on in the term. We've turned to a sort of Super League affair here, and our president, I say ours, York's president Sam Paisley, he brought along a secret weapon who no one had heard of, Jack, and he's earned himself a spot in a matter of weeks here. And
Right,
he told Sam, the president, that he averaged 80, and he has averaged 80 ever since, and a bit more.
Wow, right, okay, interesting. So what was this guy's name again? Sorry, I forgot.
Jack.
Jack. Right, okay. So he's a fresher to the stage. So has he played on a stage before? Or is this a first experience? Because it can be a bit daunting stepping on that Roses stage.
Yeah, it will be his first experience, and a lot of the York lads, in fairness, it is their first time, and you can't factor that into your performance. As I say, I speak highly of Jack there, but that stage, you're looking down on everyone. I mean, you can't practice for that.
No, you really can't. It's a struggle getting on that stage. We was talking with Matt Campbell before. He unfortunately fell to a loss last year in the deciding game for the Roses Bees, which is a bit of a struggle. But he's able to overcome that with a few jokes from me today. But it's a bit of light-hearted in the end. It's a bit of a rivalry, and it is very different stepping on stage rather than just playing on your own on a dartboard or against someone else, just having a laugh, really, isn't it?
And what better motivation than to prove your mates wrong? I mean, when you're up there, you'll be wishing him all the best, but I mean, afterwards, if it doesn't go his way, it might be a bit sore in the memory, but you'll always laugh it off. But I'm sure from your perspective, you're hoping that's not the case.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be hoping that's not the case whatsoever. I believe we will have Connor Edwards Key up next. He struggled in his first, so he is a second year. He struggled in his first 2.
That will be of my time at York here, 4 years. So to not see, I think the phrase is roses is pink, but it's certainly been red recently.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And to not see it ever go white, I mean, would be a shame. It's looking rather hard now to claw it back to being white, but I mean, darts are giving it every shot here, and it's going to be a fantastic evening.
Yeah, definitely. And the crowd seems to be building back here as the game's getting ready to go. I can see Connor there. He's loving the music. He's getting into it. And he gives me a salute as well. We've got 2 more games now, and then we are going to be going on to the A's later on. We're currently sitting at 4-3 with a George Frogson and Connor Edwards Key still to play for the Bees for Lancaster, and who's left to play for York?
It will be Sol and Dylan.
Sol seems to be a strong player for you. What's your thoughts on Sol?
Yeah, so I've only ever seen him this year on the college scene, and he's represented his college well. He played Super League, our internal Super League, I should say. As Jasper was his captain, who we saw play earlier, and he went very early on in the picking, so that speaks to maybe his quality. As I say, it's a bit of mystery on the York side yet as to what order we will be. It's a bit last minute, but hopefully that won't have any effect.
It's going to be this is a pivotal game now for York, really. If they lose this game, the game's over. They're playing that last one just for a bit of pride. So do you think they're gonna go strong here, or do you think they're gonna try and edge out and think Lancaster's gonna go weak, we'll go stronger again? What's your thoughts on the way they'll nominate the?
Yeah, the battle of the mind games here, really. I mean, what choice do you have? You have to full send it. So I think Sol's going to come out swinging, and if he plays his best stuff, we have every chance. I mean, normally Sol likes a hat. He's normally got a hat on, so whether that'll be part of his inventory, I don't know. But
interesting. So is that when he's throwing? Yeah.
Yeah, he likes a hat, as I say, in a bit of an informal setting on Tuesdays and Thursdays when York play. But I don't know Rose's etiquette. Is that allowed?
I believe there isn't any things against it.
Frogman last year. Frogman, wasn't it? He threw his hat into the
yeah,
crowd.
that's very true. Yeah. Frogson did leave his throw his hat into the crowd last year. He was he tried to be a fan favourite. It didn't quite work out, unfortunately, for him, as he did lose. However, I do think that if you want to try and keep things the same for yourself, don't want to change too much as you get on that stage. If you change too much, it's just going to get in the end. And as one of the women's players' nicknames were before, the overthinker, I do think that you can overthink things as you get on that stage if things aren't right.
Yeah, it's like boxing. A lot of boxers complain that they use a lot of their energy in if they have a fancy outfit in the on the walkout. So let's hope Sol doesn't let that come to him. I'm sure a hat is not too big an accessory.
Yeah, hopefully not. I feel like the more that they can keep the same, more can try and keep it a solid, not change too much as you get on that stage. It can really be a promising thing for yourselves.
Crowd a bit sparse at the minute, but as you said, Carl, I'm hoping everyone's just getting a few beers in.
So we're still not sure who's playing next. We believe it will be Connor Edwards-Key for Lancaster. I'm not sure about York yet. Currently just waiting for the York nomination, I believe. So we've got Dylan Savory for York here versus Connor Edwards-Key, the con artist. Now, that is not who you believed it would be. You believed it would be Sol later on.
No, and that was purely based on who I saw enter the room. Maybe Dylan was backstage. I know practice rooms are a bit off centre. So, as I say, just on the eye there, I saw Sol and might have been a bit misleading from myself. But who knows with this York team at the moment.
It's an interesting thing, though, because putting Sol in and trying to make sure you guarantee that win, it's a very interesting tactic. But he's edged on the safer side. He's gone for a slightly worse player in sense. Might not be worse, but might just be less steady on that stage compared to Sol, who's I believe has played on the stage before. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's a veteran out here.
Yeah. So he might be trying to get that experience on the stage in the last game. So putting 2 games on who you're 50-50 on. It's more of a 50-50. If Connor wins, then Lancaster win. But either way, I still think, as they're both uni players, they must be still very confident in going into this and thinking they can win.
Yeah, we've had a great, York have had a great pool this year of players. Even a C team was proposed at one point, just showing the kind of depth we've got. And I know a lot of lads felt hard done by in the way we did the qualifiers this year. So, it's the pick of a great bunch. And anyone who comes up on this stage, rightfully so, fancies themselves and has either got the confidence of the captain or has proved themselves in qualifying.
Yeah. So Lancaster's current way they do their qualifying for the teams is they do a Rosie's A's trials, then they do a Rosie's B's trials, and with 3 players dropping down from the A's into the B's to try and make it a strong team. How is it that York do theirs?
Yeah, so York is picked by the A's captain, Nick Theodulu, and it's not. He'd have had input from Sam, the president, who's he's been around the block. He's a wise old guy. He knows everything about the sport. The A's and B's is more on the eye test and who's in form and down to a pick. But the 2 spots we have left to open qualifiers really gives that sort of meritocracy to events. And I myself played in it, didn't quite get through, which I was trying not to bring up till now. It was Jacob and Jackson who were favourites coming in.
Yeah, it's an interesting one in terms of how things are picked. We're currently just waiting on when the announcements are taking place. They do seem to be taking their time, though, don't they, I believe?
Yeah, I don't know if that's down to some last-minute jitters. I mean, we've got the confirmed lineup now of Dylan coming out, but there may have been some backstage shenanigans from York. I'd like to say it's mind games, but probably a bit of lateness on behalf of how uni students are. One thing I would just note is that I think the camera angle's actually gone up a bit higher, because I think there's some interference with the camera. So I think that's one thing just to note.
I see. Yeah. We can get a better view of the board now compared to we could before. Really, it was either way. We still struggle with that right-hand side of the board, as we have got the tarp in front of it, unfortunately. But we try our best to try and see what we can guess what the scores are, and we'll work off that, really.
No, so really looking forward to this. I mean, Yeah, Dylan, he's just going to come out and give it as well. I mean, what choice do you have right now with the circumstance and B, personal circumstance? I mean, you have to come out here and play for yourself and play for your unit.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be a tough call for both players. One's playing for the win, the other one's playing to keep them in the win. It's a very high pressure game, this one. I do believe that Dylan might go over the line here if he managed to click into gear, and he's struggling a bit. He could be struggling a bit though if he gets on the stage, and then it's a bit of jitters, as it's not very good when you get on this stage and you've got shaking hand, and it's hard to see where you're going to throw that dart.
I mean, the circumstances make for that. I mean, if you've got a clutch check out here to keep you in it or to win it, I mean, you can't help. It's just natural, isn't it, to have a jittery hand? Your palms go sweaty. I mean, I don't want to quote a certain song here, but your palms go sweaty, your legs are buckling.
Yeah. It's well, we've seen it all day today, especially in the Dylan game before. There was a lot of missed darts at double, and sometimes it happens. You get on that stage and that segment gets smaller and smaller every time you miss it, and you can sometimes get a blocker as well.
I often think, speaking from experience and others, I think you can overcompensate as well. You think, oh, I've gone just outside, a checkout you want, and you move your body, and sometimes that you think you need to move your body, but you don't, and you come miles inside. You leave yourself a bogey number in terms of an odd or a checkout you're not favourable with. So it's just getting that balance. If you think you've got to change your throw, but if you come across the oki too much, you've changed too much. Yeah,
exactly. We was talking about this before. Too many changes can lead to you losing a game, but it's going to be the one that keeps it steady and keeps themselves strong. So it's currently 4-3 to Lancaster, and we're going to be starting next with the two final games. So this is game 8 of 9. We're going to be joining the MC now.
It's time for the 8th match. The score is currently 4-3 to Lancaster University. Now, it's time to meet the players. From Lancaster University, it's the con artist, Connor Edwards. Hey!
And here comes Connor now. A very interesting walk-on song, to say the least. And Connor just shaking the hands of all the Lancaster fans now. He's one of our Lonsdale Massive, as we call them. We've had a few Lonsdale players this time, we were saying before. We've got Connor, we've got Omar, we've got Leon, who's playing later, we've got Ibby playing later, we had Ben before. They are quite a strong college in terms of darts. Connor seems to be trying to get the fans going, get the fans pumped. And on comes the York player now.
From the University of York, it's Dylan, the villain, Savary!
And here comes Dylan now. Dylan, he seems like he's getting ready. He's shaking the hands of the York players. What do you think is going through his head as he's stepping on the stage right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's had, the York fans and players who come down very strategically placed. They're the first thing that you see when you walk on. Dylan giving it a big bump, the fist as he walks up here, chatting with Evan. Who knows what they're talking about, but both players got a great reception for the respective set of fans.
Yeah, so it's going to be York to throw first in this one. He's going to be a highly contested match, this one. Connor's got a very interesting throw. He's very much not a follow-through sort of person with his dart. He's a very stabby person, the way he throws his dart. We was talking about this before. There's going to be a lot of bounce-outs on this board, I believe, as the night goes on.
Yeah, we've just seen one there. It's happened throughout the day. I remember it in the ladies earlier, the women's. There's a few bounce-outs, especially of note here. And Evan's just getting us underway here. Handshake between the two, and yeah, Dylan's setting off proceedings here.
Yeah, so Dylan's to throw first, and his first start does fall into the 5, unfortunately. He's not going to be happy with that, and he's gone down to the bottom side of the board and hits a 19. He managed to get a 16 then, which made it a round number. It's not too bad, and Connor seems to be throwing a few wayward starts here, and he hits a 7. So it's not a very strong start from either player right now.
No, sorry, Zach. Well, I mean, the follow-through, as I say, for playing myself, I think you can focus on your follow-through too much and put too much. You can bring it high, bring it low. I think just play as you feel natural. There's no right or wrong answer to how you throw darts.
No. Everyone's form is different in terms of the way they throw a dart. It changes quite a bit. And then we have another 20 scored there. It's not great scoring here from Connor, but it does seem like Dylan's following through, and he's really looking strong in these first 3 visits. And there's a 30 as well. We're staying within the 30 to 40 mark right now for Dylan, compared to Connor's 26. He's still not got over that 40 mark yet. He may struggle as he gets on in this, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, you'd hope you're getting them out of the way, really. I guess I know it's a cliche, but we're way off now from a finish anywhere. So one big score and you change your fortunes, and who cares how you get there? As long as if you get over the line, you get over the line.
And there's Connor's first time over the 40 mark now. So he is 3-2-9 playing 3-7-1 of Lancaster. It's a close encounter, this one, but I do feel like Dylan's going to run away with it. Will he manage to get over the line, though, with his doubles? We have seen earlier on in the night where we've had some players struggle on the doubles and then lose the leg due to not being able to convert. Do you think that will be an issue for Dylan, or is he quite a strong doubler?
I mean, Dylan himself, he's quite quiet on the college scene and the inter-York scene. He's very committed to his college football. So speaking of experience myself, I can't say, but that all goes out the window. I mean, we talk about doubling when it's not pressure. Let's see how he gets on, and then, from a York perspective, you'd hope so. Yeah,
definitely. And Connor kicks the hockey there and manages to move the dartboard. Might have put off Dylan, but he wasn't too bad.
I'm sure it was accidental.
It didn't seem to be on purpose. Connor got first in the treble. He's trying to pump up the crowd. He didn't manage to follow it, though, and has managed to hit a ton, which is very strong score. And that's the first treble visit that we've seen in the treble 20, and both are on finishes. And he's at a 57. He's left himself with a 2-dart finish. Connor's left himself 167. He's going to need a treble 20, treble 19 bullseye.
A bit of confusion here from
This
Evan.
does seem to be a confusion between...
Some frantic looks being exchanged between Elliot and Evan.
There we go. We've managed to get it right in the end. A few jeers from the Lancaster crowd. Oh, and he's just gone above the treble 20 there. And he's switched down to the bullseye, and he's gone back up again there for the treble 1. He's going to go for the 20s here. If he goes the traditional route, he's hit a 7, treble 19. He's hit the treble 19. Oh, he didn't hit the treble 19. He went inside it and hit the 18, and he's left himself 42 after 33. And there's a 28 from Connor. He requires 19 hours, 42. He's left to 6, so he's hit double 18. He's just gone outside, and his second one's outside. They were 2 strong darts, just a bit away from the area there.
Yeah.
We've got Connor now on 90s, playing 90s on 89, treble 19. He's gone for the 19. He's gone for the bull on the last one, so he's left for 50 there.
Attempt at the ball, maybe?
Oh, and he's just gone inside on the 18 there, left himself double 9. He's gone 50. Will Connor go for the bull? I do believe he will. He's going to play up to the crowd. Oh, and he's just outside. He's hit the 16, so he's left himself double 19, I believe. Oh, no, double 17, sorry. Oh, he's just missed it. He's hit the 3. So now he's left himself 29, and he's gone for double 9 now, Dylan. Oh, and that was in, and it bounced out. That's unlucky. And the second one's very unlucky there, Luke. Lancaster on 29. And he's hit the 12 there, so he's left himself 17, so he's going to go 1 for double 8. And he's hit the 18, so he's busted his score. That's not good there from Connor. Dylan Hayes now. And he's gone inside on the double 9. That is a very unlucky dart there. And we've got 29 left. He's gone for the 3 to leave himself double 13. He needs to hit the 13. And he's left himself double 5. 1 for double 2. Double 4, sorry.
He's just gone
and
next
it's not
door.
in. Dylan thought it was in, but he couldn't see it. That's very unlucky there for Dylan. Over to Connor now. And he's just gone inside the 20 again. This is double trouble here for the two players, isn't it, Luke?
Yeah, the players have been put through the mangle here. The crowd, you hear some people going early thinking it's gone in, but this screen and how far away the board is, it can be deceptive.
Yeah, and that's just blocked the double 5 now. The way his dart's landed, it's landed a bit of a flat one there. He's still going for it. And he's just busted his score again. So Dylan's going to go for 1 for double 4 again. He's hit the 1 for double 4. And he's just gone over the 18. And he's gone over the 18 again. He's still left himself a double, though.
Yeah,
he's going to get 3 darts a double. 5 here now. He's got the 1. And he's just missed double 2.
Yeah, that odd can just nag at you. It can just, you focus on it too much, getting out of the way, and maybe going just outside is preferable.
And Dylan hits the double with a second dart, scoring 8. That puts him 1-0 up in this fixture. And that's 24 there. That's not a great score there for Connor. He needs to do better than that. It's a double in there from Dylan. And he scores an 80. Good scoring there from Dylan.
No apology again.
We don't seem to be getting many apologies from the York players today. And that's another 41 there. That's a bit better than the 24 he previously scored. And now he seems to be getting his flow now a bit, Dylan. He's scoring over his 40s now. He's getting comfortable with the game.
Yeah, he looks to be growing into this and just strayed into the wrong treble there. It's killer, that kicker.
And he's got 2 in the 7 there. It wasn't a great switch down to the 19s, but he's managed to pull it back a bit. And he scored 5 there. So, and we've gone to 45 again now for the York player. On to Connor again. And he's struggling to follow that first dart. And he scored 65. We've got an apology there from Connor. I don't believe he didn't know that was going in the tops there, to be fair, but we'll go with it. Yeah. And there's another 1 in the 7. He's struggling with that switch down to the 19s, isn't he, there, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, this early on, do you need to switch? I mean, you don't need to leave a round number. If you want to change, you want to change, but I think you just persevere where you think you're finding your scores, and 20 seem to be that.
Yeah, and he seems to be really struggling again with the treble 19. 2 in the 7 again, with the 1 in the 5. It wasn't a great score. It's currently York 2-3-3 playing 2-6-8 for Lancaster, leaving a 35 gap between the players. He's managed to get 1 in the 19 there. So round number there, he's left himself 1-9-3. And Connor's left himself 2-6-8. And it's a 41 there for Connor. He needs a big score next one to put some pressure on. .54 scored, so that leaves him 139, sorry, and that's 227. And that's 50. Lancaster, he needed another 10 there to manage to leave himself a finish. Correction, sorry, he is on 138, not 139. So York's playing 139 right now. He's gone for the treble to leave treble 18, double 12, but he missed that. So he's gone after 27. He's gone for a 177 now for Connor, and he scored steady there, and he scored 85. That's a strong score. Put some pressure on now, Dylan. He's left 80. He's gone one. Oh, and he's busted his score on the second dart, unfortunately. He was going for a second 20 for tops. Can't quit. And that's a 27 there. So leave himself 65, 80 now. So he's going to go tops. 20 again. Oh, he's scored 21 there, left himself 59. He's got 65. He's going to go for outer ball, and he's hit the 19, I believe.
Yes, just in the
treble
19.
18. And he's missed. And he's scored 37, leave himself double 14. So now we've got Lancaster on 19, and he's hit the 3, I believe. And he's hit the 16 for tops. Oh, and he's just below it there. He's just missed tops there.
Yeah, I mean,
And now, sorry, go on.
Dylan finding it. I mean, when it wasn't important, tops of Edium just at the minute.
Yeah, now Connor's playing for double 14, but he's split it now. He's left him. He's gone inside, so he's left, and he's just outside there. He can't seem to find it. And he's bust his score now. He needs to go higher on that first dart. He needs to set the marker straight. Double 10, and Dylan wins it 2-0 in quite a convincing win. Ref's hands. And York will be very happy with that, bringing it back to 4-all and taking it to a decider.
Yeah, Dylan knows what he's doing there, giving us a bit of life to this. He's going along, getting a big embrace from the York boys, as he should. Yeah, just quietly went about his business there.
Yeah, Connor just getting a bit of a handshake from his captain there. He'll be a bit disappointed with that, but either way, he's played on the Roses stage, and he's played at the highest level he can do. So we're on for George Frogson next. The captain, he's going to put the pressure on himself, and I believe that'll be against Sol, one of your very experienced players. That's going to be a very, very interesting matchup. I do believe that we will be having a short break soon as we go into the last match. And then we'll be seeing the players very soon. So we are currently at 4-all for Lancaster. And York are on the comeback now. Can it come to the last game, and do you feel Sol can really put it over the line?
Yeah, I mean, cliche again, but I think he'll just be playing himself. I mean, darts is, at the end of the day, you're playing the board in front of you. What your opponent does, you shouldn't really need to worry about. And I think Sol's got that experience to know that's the case. Just do what he does best. Don't worry too much about what Lancaster are up to.
Yeah, so Matt Campbell is going to be taking over me now. He is just taking a brief break, and he's going to be calling the decider with Luke here as we go 4-all, and hopefully 5-4 Lancaster in my opinion, but I'm sure you're saying the other way, Luke.
Yeah, I'll leave you with that.
Hello. Thank you, Kyle, and hello, Luke. Wow, a decider for the second year running. This is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you called it, Matt, there, but you missed a really just swift performance from Dylan. Not much to the crowd until it was done. I mean, that's personally how I would approach this, really. Just enjoy it when it was done, and Dylan did with the York boys in front of him, York boys and ladies, I should say, in front of him. And what's the need to really enjoy it too much till it's over, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, throughout the day, we've had some absolutely ridiculously good matches, to be fair. I mean, it's what the pendulum swung back and forth. Lancaster going 2-0 up, York 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3, 4-4. I mean, it's a fixture that's worthy of a decider, and I know Lancaster's captain, George Frogson, he'll be up for it. York, who've York got left to play?
So we've got Sol, the Solman, Lugmire here, just mingling with a player from earlier on, Jackson. Just left the room again. I'm not sure where he's off to, but yeah, I was just saying to Carl, he's really he's been around the block, and he'll enjoy this.
Yeah, I noticed that on his sheet, it was listed as a Roses player, was it 2 years ago? And the ones, I think it said that he was in the open ones, and unfortunately not on out. So I think York are hoping that his fortunes can change today. I mean, what do you expect from a decider? We've got an experienced player, obviously in Seoul from a couple of years ago. We've got George Frogson, fresher last year, was in the ones last year, captain of the twos this year. Knows how to get his way on stage, won last year. So 2 high-level opponents against each other. I wonder how you think it's going to go.
Yeah, it is going to be the toss of a coin here. I mean, I'm sure it's been said a million times in commentary. It will be those checkouts. One part of darts personally, and I think I saw Dylan there, is that 100 to 150 range. But you're not quite on a checkout at this level, but you can't help but eye it up and think you're going to be a headline or gonna live in the memory. So yeah, it's going to be that probably teeing up just over the 100 mark, just maybe under 150. Do you attack, or do you maybe take a moment and pause and say, look, we'll leave ourselves a nice checkout?
Absolutely. I think we saw that with Ben Davies in the third game of the night when he was 2-1 up and cruising really against his opponent. I can't remember. I think it might be Arthur. And Arthur was getting the crowd going, but it wasn't really going for him. And then halfway through that second leg, from about 2:30 down, Ben was just sort of, I guess he was eyeing like get the game done quickly, get it over, get the 3-0. And he allowed Arthur to come back in. He had the support of York. Ben was sort of messing around a little bit in that sort of, as you say, midsection where he thinks, I could have a chance at the finish if I go a different route, but then you're straying away from what you've been good at for the rest of the leg. And it's like, as you say, that balance of, we're not professionals, we're not going to check out these big finishes. We've had one chance at a big finish, and it was miles off, really, realistically. But you just sort of get complacent in your head. You think, I'll check this out, be it on stage, I'll give it the big one, and it allowed Arthur to get back in and ultimately win the game, turn the tide, get the York crowd involved, and it could have been a lot different if, as you said, he just focused on getting down to a more manageable finish.
Yeah, you can only speak when you're up there. I mean, us two here saying that, but I'm sure you see the headlights and you go tunnel vision, and especially if you're in that position as well, if you hit a nice treble, you think the rest of it's going to fall into place, and then it might not, and you can't let that affect you. If you hit a nice treble around there, you leave yourself a visit back if your opponent doesn't capitalise. So yeah, it's always those psychological things around a turn of a century, going from maybe 300 to 200, get a big score around 300, you're near enough a finish. But how do you balance that personal ambition with being sensible and a bit of gamesmanship?
And I guess it's also the psychology. You see, we've seen a lot of comebacks today in legs where I think the second leg of Theo versus Jacob Simpson, Jacob went on to win that, and it was a great performance for him. But the second leg, he was on a finish, and Theo was on mid, like 150, 200, and there's no way he should have won that second leg, but he kept on plugging. He kept the 137, I think. And it's just that sort of little seed in the back of Jacob's mind, thinking, he's now put the pressure on, I've now got to check this. The more pressure he's put on himself. And it's those sort of little mental battles that you have in the middle of your games that really determine it. So interesting to see how these final two really, avoid falling into the traps that we've mentioned.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, just touching on Jacob there, I mean, he maybe had a blessing, I think, in terms of the whole idea around Roses. He had to qualify, and he's earned his spot. So, I mean, the guy's a Roses man. He's playing pool earlier, so he's got his eye in for a bit of Roses, and that qualification, maybe it means some more. You've proved yourself on the way here. You're not an A's and B's stalwart, and Jacob's a brilliant player and probably a B's player +1. If there was a C's team, he'd be probably captain in it.
It's interesting that I've heard about the York last year. From what I heard of York, is that the teams are sort of picked by a committee. I'm not sure how true that is, but just do you know sort of the process that they use this year? Because I know I can run through the Lancaster process, but I'm interested to hear the York process of how the teams are selected and that kind of side of it.
Yeah, me and Carlo were talking about it, yeah, it's a meritocracy in terms of it's not a pick at the point of use, but you pick yourself in the York format by being great all year, and maybe actually that is the key. You've proved yourself all year, and maybe that is the unofficial pick, so to speak. York leave 2 spots open for qualifiers. I myself tried to play in it, and I look into the crowd here. A lot of lads here feel they should be there. Jacob and Jackson, who played earlier, they earned their spot the fairest of anyone. They had a direct, dedicated competition to qualify, and they did. And there's a lot of pressure on that. I mean, especially if it's your last year. I'm 99% sure it's Jacob's last year here, and he would have been dying to get in to a Roses one last time. He had Paul, but he loves darts, and he forced his way in.
It's those stories that just make it all the more sweeter when you get a performance like Jacob did, where his scoring was sublime. It meant that he was afforded more chance at double. He could afford to miss the occasional visit. He could go outside of the 16s because his opponent was just so far back. And I think that's great. I think Lancaster do it in a sort of similar way. The first round of qualification is sort of more selected. You get the colleges select their 2 best players that aren't like already in the Uni 1s or the Uni 2s. and then they play to group stage games, get to a finals night, and then to wildcards. I think the Bees is sort of similar with the way that they have groups, and you have to play your groups. More of a knockout format this time because there were complaints last year of how the team was filled. There are a lot of players that arguably should have been there that weren't, and then there are a few today that I know a couple of the Uniers lot. I know Jacob Bresnan. He's a name that York will probably be familiar with after his antics the last 2 years, but he's not made it this year, and it's just the format that if you don't get it, it's tough, but you've just got to pick yourself up and go next year if you have the opportunity to. And it's great that the people from third, fourth years even are able to get that chance.
Yeah, as I say, I can't speak to darts on the more holistic scale, so to speak, because I joined the York darts scene quite recently. But yeah, Evan's just interrupting us, I think.
If the master caller doesn't want you to finish that sentence, Luke, let's listen to it.
I'm sure he's got much better things to say.
Quick rounds before the start. Lancaster or York, who takes it?
Oh my word! I mean, my heart's screaming York, but let's let it play out. Is that an okay answer?
I'm the same. My heart's saying Lancaster from the previous years there, but we'll let it play out. Froggy, the Zombies are wearing some walkout, replacing Zombie with Froggy. It was brilliant last year. The atmosphere was class. Played against George Agar, I can see now. And that was a great game. And it's today.
Yeah, Froggy just had to go and collect a handshake over from Lancaster as Jackson's just aired him at the York end after offering his hand out as a handshake. So 1-0 up maybe mentality-wise.
Well, in handshake, mortality and victories, it's 1-0 Jackson on the morrow, but let's see if we can get it on the stage.
From the University of York, it's Sol, the Soul Man, Luke Meyer.
Sol has been pointed out to me as one of the players to watch for this York team. I don't know how, never seen him play, but he looks like he's in the mood for it. There's half-drunk pint, proper getting involved with all the York fans. He looks like he's definitely in the mood for this decider.
Yeah, big few handshakes there and embrace as well. And as I just touched on earlier, a bit of a more classy song to come onto than maybe the classic indie rock or hardcore metal we've seen.
It's definitely getting a rendition of singing from at least Matt Kerr. That's the only one I can really tell. But the York faithful are joining in, and this could be the boost that Sol needs to take it. The York crowd, in the games that they've won, have been overpowering the Lancaster crowd. It makes sense, home field advantage, but that's been really beneficial for them.
Yeah, I mean, the room's not quite full, and I think it's hard to get so much amongst it. I mean, you go to start a chant or say something, and you don't quite get the reaction you want, and you can kind of hide into your shell as a fan. I was up there just before I came on comms, and I experienced 1 or 2 of those myself. But yeah, Sol just throwing here a few practice darts.
Yeah, Froggy was, for those who are watching live, you can see, for those on radio, it's a nice slow rhythmic. It's about 4 to 5 seconds to release per dart. It's just, he'll never change. We talked about it last year at Rhodes, we talked about it this year. He's always going to stay in that nice, slow, methodical action. He's not going to worry about his opponent firing up. He's not going to worry about any chance. He's going to play his game. Looks quite nice, looks quite rhythmic.
I mean, maybe Sol was probably hoping for, but Froggy starting here, as you say.
Many have wanted it. Go, the decider with Froggy to throw first for Lancaster. It could be on the night straight away.
I think we know the answer to what happened just there.
A 137 to kick off. You couldn't have dreamed of a better start. Put the pressure straight on Sol. And here we go. We can really hear the jeers from Lancaster. York will be the same if Froggy makes a move wrong, but it's going to be hostile from both sides in this environment for the decider.
Yeah, and I mean, straight away, that psychological barrier we spoke about. I mean, Sol just scraping into the 400, and Froggy here already down. I think, yeah, the counters just confirmed it, down to the low 200s.
The one George Frogson chants are ringing out already. He is gonna show no emotion was his game plan. Take it in his stride. A 24 there from Sol. At this moment, Sol is just gonna have to hope for a mistake. He's gonna have to keep throwing darts. Maybe this isn't his leg, but we've seen people come from further behind, so you never know.
Well, I mean, maybe not quite following up with his recent form, maybe falling back more towards Sol's level right now with a 16.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he got a bit ahead of himself after the first two, averaging about 120 odd, but he's gonna try and hopefully leave himself a finish. And it goes back to what we were saying about the psychology of finishes. Will he try and go for something special? He's like a 164. Will he try to go for it? Will he try and set up? You'd imagine he'd go for it, but is that the smart option?
He's got all the time in the world to decide what he wants, even if he doesn't go for it straight away. Pride may pull him towards trying to have a go. I think maybe the sensible part of him may say, look, let's get myself to my ideal finish.
Well, 2 treble 19s would leave double 16, could go 20s as well. Let's see what Froggy decides to go for. He does go 19s. Single leaves him on 127, should go up the board now. 107 left, back down to the 19s, I'd imagine. And he does, a 58, which is steady darts at this point. 88 after 15. I mean, the score in his first 2 visits have just put Sol in the back mirror, so you can't imagine him getting a chance in this leg, but we've seen stranger things.
No, and the Lancaster crowd reminding him of where he is with a certain see you later chant.
And Froggy probably went 16s there on 88. 77, you'd imagine he'd go down to the 17s? Is that a 90? Leaves 58. So Froggy's left himself 31, so he's left himself 57. Nice single to double. Sol back in the stratosphere, but a couple big visits like we saw with Froggy can put him right back in this fixture.
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to George Froggy playing really well as opposed to Sol maybe not being at his best, but how can you argue with being 57 after 21 darts?
Absolutely, and we've seen flashes of Sol's come trebles. Oh, Froggy straight into the 5 there when he's going for tops for the leg, so he's going to go downstairs, hit a big 17, which we would like. 17 to leave double 9. You'd imagine with Sol being on 303, going 19s as he rightfully should. But imagine with Sol being so far back, Froggy's going to look to maybe split this. I can't imagine he goes straight for double 9. But he has gone for it. Big 9, a skinny 1, just about got in there. So leaves double 4. And that's what we were saying earlier about the scoring power. He can afford these misses. It's just if Sol gets down to a finish, he'll have that thought in the back of his mind. But for now, he thinks he can have another 3, maybe 6 darts, and he'll be absolutely golden.
Yeah, I mean, Sol's just potentially going to turn the century here. He's turned into the hundreds here. And I don't want to speak to Froggy's mentality, but Sol's in his rearview mirror, and he's got no choice about it.
And then with the York crowd giving it big, then it's not an easy double, and you can see the darts are well outside, about 3-4 inches outside, and he's hit the big 13. Could this be the start of a capitulation? Sol for 156 would raise the roof, put a dent in it. He'd love to do that. Starts with a big 1, so not what he'd hope for. Treble 5, 16, 140 left, and it is 20.
A lovely little round number. Well, I say little, a rather large round number, but achievable.
Definitely. Froggy on double 4, and he's straight in. It's what we were saying, Luke. It's the pressure of your opponent getting back on you. Froggy would have thought he had all the time in the world. All of a sudden, Sol's there on 120. 1 treble combo. It's still on. He's not going tops, is he? It's still on. Tops, treble 20, I think that is.
Yep.
Is it double 10 he's going for? Or is that not in the treble? Not in the treble, just below. Apologies. So, Froggy on 8. It needs to go for him now, you think. And it's nowhere near. The York crowd are really doing their best for Sol, and it's working so far. Froggy straying into the 18s again, and I have to say, Luke, at the moment, Sol will be thinking, how has he gotten away with this? A big 2 though on 75, even 73, should go 19s here. And he has, but I think he's hit the big to leave 54. 14 leaves tops, and Froggy now, this has to go with Sol lurking now on a double on 40. Froggy on 8 still. And he's hit double 18, and oh my goodness. Sol, despite starting the leg 200 points behind, will have a chance at tops to break the Lancaster throw. Just comes inside on the 20. Just outside on the double 10. And he's hit the 6 to leave double 7. Froggy, you must think, even coming inside, hitting the 4 might be a good idea. Well, he's won the leg there, Luke, but it's nowhere near convincing as it should have been.
No, I mean...
And apologies there for any of the fruity language from the Lancaster crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell if Froggy let himself go a bit there or if Sol was just putting that pressure on it. A bit of both, you'd hope, but certainly the proverbial squeaky there for Froggy.
And apologies again for the language of the York crowd. The decider's raising a lot of nerves, and we do apologise for the continued bad language that is going to come from both sets of fans. So apologies for that again.
Yeah, I mean, both sides getting really invested in that leg, rightly so. I mean, maybe some biting of the nails from the Lancashire lot, and York ever so more boisterous as that leg went on.
And again, can't tell if that's bad language. I'll just apologise just in case. But it's quite hard to hear when it's a collective chant. I mean, this leg, it's been a mediocre start for both players. So with a nice start there, see if he can follow that into the 20s. Just below the trebles, it's blocked. He might switch here, or will he try and force it through? He does, and it just goes straight into the 1. Not been the greatest of start for this second leg for both players.
No, I mean, where were we? I mean, a leg, the previous leg, I think George Froggy was probably down to, what, 200 at this point, maybe?
Probably something like that, but especially with the added pressure now of the York crowd, neither player is really getting a foothold in this second leg. If a big treble from either will basically take the leg away from the other player.
I mean, the crowd seems to have just almost grown upon us as we've looked away. I mean, I see a few of the York A players coming down before a bit of practice. William Merriman in the crowd. Maybe Sol can channel some of the future A's captain here.
Yeah, it seems to have in the last 30 seconds to a minute just doubled in size and sound. I mean, both sets of fans are finally finding their voice. It's been a bit lackluster at times during this afternoon, but it definitely isn't now.
No, I think a lot of the outdoor sports finished for the day, so everyone maybe just piling in as they didn't get a ticket for the fight night maybe. But I think darts is a big enough draw to, let's say it was
I think so, especially with a 95 score there from Sol. And Froggy without a treble, big treble this. Apologies again for any language that we may have picked up on our microphones here. But Froggy with a decent finish there. Decent visit there.
Sol stepping up here.
Again, we're going to have to keep apologising for the bad language. It's both sets of fans. And we've had a 140 with a massive reaction from Sol. He is in complete control of this leg. 111 after 18 darts. Again, apologies for the language that is continuing up for this game as Froggy responds with 100. Luke, this second leg is all over the place.
Yeah, sorry, I keep looking towards the crowd and back again, and before I look, we're churning through the hundreds here, the denomination of hundreds. Sol channeling his inner Gezi Price there with a big booyah. Let's see if he can check out like Gezi Price.
He's been quite good, and a treble 20 there for Frogston, it looks like on 2-4-6. Bit low on the second. Might have to make sure he can leave a finish here. And it's another 140. Sol on 68 though after 21. Let's see what he can do. Big 20, nice and safe. 6 and 18 and 6. And he's bossed it. The treble 16, and that could, if Froggy's on his game, could prove costly.
Yeah, we're just a shy of under 100 here as Froggy steps up.
It's a big 20. He'll go to the 18 segment now on 86. And it's hit the treble 1. 83, he'll go 51 on 17s. 68, so hopefully a nice first start in the 20 or the Treb 20. Treb 20 leaves double 4 for Sol to equalise, and he gives it absolutely massive. That's a great check out under pressure, Froggy behind him. And it's been a tale of two legs, the scoring for Froggy in the first, the scoring for Sol in the second. And it's rightful that this great game has gone to a decider.
I mean, we've gone a draw overall to a draw in this game here. Sol just swigging his drink on the table just to wet the lips and maybe whet his appetite for a big score here.
And Froggy with an 83 there, I think it was. But both players show they can score big. They can finish when the pressure gets onto them. This could be a cracking final leg.
Yeah, do not go anywhere here, Matt. I mean, a really good start here. So with a nice round 60 and Georgia with an 83. So just tipping this last leg here.
Yeah, and it's so long as they stay in the big numbers, even if there's not a treble, if they can get 3 big numbers, like a 57 at this level, it's
Georgia
as good as anything. It'll absolutely take that. Although that in Seoul. Apologies again, once more for the language. Picking up probably because York are closest, but for both sides, we do apologise for the language. It's a lot of passion from both sides, but again, we have to apologise for any language you might have heard from both sets of supporters. We do apologise for that.
Yeah, not one for those who've got Disney ears here. You want to maybe tune off if actually don't actually, because it's a great game here.
I was going to say, put the parental warning on, but after this game, because this game has been nothing short of entertainment, as the Lancaster give it big for a 22. A point there from Seoul. Is that a release? Could we see? He's a bit ahead of Froggy, about 18 points ahead. Froggy with his nice rhythmic action. He's going to want a big treble in here. A loose second dart in the small, skinny 12 after a big 20. 40, 47, 80s.
I think that'll be a check here.
Yeah, good sportsmanship from Froggy, although it was more of the case of the ref just miscounted. So
yeah, I mean, you can blame him with the stakes here. I mean, rather him than me, Matt.
Yeah, all credit to the refs we've had today. A few mistakes, but I wouldn't want to be in their position.
No, I'd happily just sit here with you and just comment on his performance.
Oh, absolutely. So Froggy needs to be careful here. I mean, again, at these 3:05 range, you're not looking to leave a finish, but it could be in the back of their minds, as we talked about earlier. And Froggy, it's been a bit of a poor visit there. Saved it with a single 19, but
was a big fish on there? A setup, yeah, could have been on.
I mean, we could hopefully hope for the big fish at one point. We had the,
oh, sorry, yeah, apologies, I've got ahead of myself there.
Again, if we had a swear word, apologies for the language. Again, apologies as Froggy goes, we apologise for the language. Both sets of fans trying to outdo the other in noise, and honestly, it's been a great atmosphere for the final game. 45 for Froggy. You've got to think Seoul's in the driving seat if he can get a big visit here.
Matt, every time we look around, the crowd's just growing. They must be listening to us and hopefully enjoying us, but also taking note of just how monumental what's going on here is. I mean, draw in the fixture and draw in this match.
It's either they're enjoying us commentary or they wanted to watch it live so they could escape us. Again, apologies for the language. Noise time from Lancaster. I do apologise for the language from all of those players and fans and staff. And I mean, who can blame them? But I do apologise for that.
There's other words.
No. 171 for Froggy. Liat after 21. 218 for York. With these 3 to come, he's on 178. He'll have to think about this. In the 18 to square it off. So the 160. Froggy on 171. A big visit here. Could tip the scales in Lancaster's favour, but Seoul is first to a finish.
One thing I will say, Matt, is whoever loses out on this, you can only feel for them. I mean, as we're drawing the climax of this, I mean, it's going to be heartbreak, but not for a want of trying. Both deserve to walk off having done themselves prouder.
Absolutely. It's a credit to both players and both societies of the amount of quality games we've had in both the two so far and the women's earlier on. Some absolute barnstormers in all of them, and long may that continue. 44. And could Froggy, a 137, treble 19 tops, he could go. He's gone. It's a poor first start in the 5.
We're at that fabled time here. Could you have taken it out, or do you set yourself and take the long-term view? And as George has taken maybe the longer-term view here?
I think he's disappointed with that 32. He won't show it, but 115. You should start imagining. Oh, he's starting on the 20s. Interesting. I'd have started on the 19s personally, but treble 19. So he's now on single 19, leaves 76.
Pause
He's
here.
just taking a second to think about it. 39 scored, 76 left. 20s again. And that's a fantastic visit to leave 16 for the match. Froggy, this 105 might have to go. A single 20. 15s or 19s for Frogson. And it's a single 15 to leave 70. So Seoul, he takes a sip of his drink as Froggy throws. All he can do is set up. And set up he has done very, very well. Leaves, I believe, double 8. He does. Both players on double 8. But Seoul with first crack for the match. He sets himself. He composes. He leans forward. It's just outside to the left. It's just outside again, but it's a lot closer. Could he use it as a guide? And it's outside again. He's visibly frustrated, Luke. And could this be Froggy's chance?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a draw within a draw within a draw here. Both players on 16, or is it?
I could barely hear myself think the crowd is loud as Froggy for double 8. He's hit the big 8. Double 4 caused him so many problems last leg. The first leg. And he's hit the treble 4. Sol composes himself once again. Froggy will be kicking himself. The Yorkshire chance come out with Sol. Misses double 8. A couple of, just an inch to the right. Single 8. Will this double 4 go for the match? For the Bees fixture? And he's narrowly missed it again. And oh my goodness, it would come down to this. It would come down to both players on double. Double 8 for Froggy after he bust the last visit. 16 for the match. And he's hit double 16.
Yeah, gone next door there. So, with a chance to tick this fixture off and tick his place off here.
And it's over. It's next to the 4 on the board. Can he get the double? It's it come inside. Double 2. And display of bottle from Sol in the deciding leg. A fixture worthy of a decider. All credit to Frogson. He'll be absolutely kicking himself. And he's a stage upset. But all credit to him. Honestly, Luke, what a fantastic end to the game.
Oh, Matt, the only losers here are those who weren't here for it, listened in or played in it. I mean, Sol just finishing his drink here, raises it to the York crowd. I hope we've justified and shown just how incredible this was.
And just how much it means to all these York fans.
Another drink here for Sol on stage. Is it down in 1?
He's trying his very, very best.
Or maybe.
Maybe, not quite.
I mean...
Or maybe. We might be able to grab him. So a fantastic performance there. Deciding leg, deciding game. Yeah. Talk me through how you're feeling right now. Just don't swear.
Well, first leg was terrible. I just couldn't throw anything straight. And second leg, I felt like, I kind of got down in the first leg. And I thought, okay, I'm in the game here. You know, he was missing a few doubles. And then he checked it, fair play. And the second leg, I felt my feet and kind of started scoring again. And it was nervy in the end. You know, when I missed 3, I thought I'm done. And I got lucky, and here we are with the winners.
I'd rather you than me.
How did you refocus yourself to obviously deciding leg, deciding double? You're going around the board. How do you refocus yourself to make sure that you're in the best position to hit that double?
I'm just treating it like a normal competition that we play on a Tuesday and Thursday in D-Bar. You know, as the same, I blocked out all the noise behind me, all the abuse from the Lancaster fans, which is part and parcel of it all. And I just blocked it all out. I just said, like, I'm just playing a normal game of darts, and kept calm as much as I could, and you know, it went in luckily.
Yeah, and you had the support of the York fans. They were giving it massive. They were cheering you on. What does that mean to you when you're on stage and it's getting a bit nervy, a bit shaky, and you've got the York fans behind you?
If I'm being honest, I tried to not look at anyone over there because I thought I'm going to, my head's going to go. I just wanted to stay concentrated and focused. And to be honest, I blocked all of it out. Lancaster noise, York noise. I just blocked it all out and just tried to play my own game.
Very professional. Well done, Sol. Appreciate that.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Wow, that was Sol, your winner of the... And Luke, he comes across so calm in that interview there, but on his stage, his nerves must have been through the roof.
Yeah, he's a wise old man, isn't he? I mean, Samuel Paisley, the president here, just embracing him with the embrace he should have. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say, Matt. I don't know.
I mean, I'm speechless. It was you feel for Frogson, you feel for Lancaster twos. I mean, they've had a valiant effort, some great performances. A special highlight of that Harry Riordan performance, the 140, the near 170, a 60-odd average. But you look at that from Sol, and the first night really doesn't tell the story, because Froggy's was 57, Sol's was 39, but it was that middle patch, as we said, the middle patch through the game. You get out of your scoring blocks, and it's that mid to low territory, 250 to like 1 to 100, where it's just, you just got to keep going, and Sol set himself up brilliantly for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, it's easy, to forget George. I mean, I think he went off straight away, in fairness to him. So would I think so would everyone here. He played his part in that with a superb first leg. I mean, how could Sol compete? It's amazing that Sol just parked that, or saw beyond that, and just, as I said, probably played the board. Probably just played the board, forgot that George was there. There was probably a blur in his vision that just saw someone going up, throwing something, coming back, and so I was like, right, I do what I do.
Definitely, and I've been on that stage. I can commiseration to Froggy. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you Luke, thank you Kyle, thank you Maka, thank you everyone for the commentary. It's just been Open Darts 2's final score of York 5, Lancaster 4.